Hello friends. This is Phoenix What If. How are you all? So in this video, we will see. What if Naruto awakened the power of winged fox and got harem? But before we start, if you want more amazing stuff like this, then be sure to subscribe to our channel and like this video. Also if possible share this video with your friends. Now without wasting any more time, let's begin the story. I crashed through a large bush. My blonde hair with red highlights waved as I ran. The sound of dogs hot on my trail was filling the air, but I was focusing my thoughts so the howling wind would not injure my eardrums. I began to laugh. I was making it. I just needed a clearing, or a gap in the trees big enough to. A dog was snapping at my feet now. The sound of a wolf howl brought back bad memories of the school. The white coats and the erasers were flooding my mind. Erasers always equal bad news. They were humans, but they were genetically enhanced so they could morph into half-human, half-wolf creatures. Damn, I hated them. But now was not the time to go strolling down good old memory lane. Now was the time to run. I kicked the bloodhound in the jaw, as a gap in the trees met my eyes. Yes, a clearing. But my hopes were cut short. I could see it was a fucking cliff. People would be saying, now how is a helicopter supposed to land on such a small cliff? What the hell was a helicopter anyway? I shrugged, and was about to crash through the trees, when another dog dug his claws into my back through the two long rips in the back of my black sleeveless t-shirt. I winced, then punched the dog in the face. The cliff's edge was only a couple off feet away. Please tell me I had thought of something. Well, I had. I dove off the edge. I was free falling. Anyone would be saying, well, dying is a lot better of an idea than being tortured. But I had a better idea. After a fell 100 feet, I snapped open my black wings. Yes, I have wings. Dark black feathered wings to be exact. I also had rabbit-like ears among my hair that were red, and a red tail. The ears and the tail are all of the reason I have my wings anyway. Scientists thought I would be better to experiment on because I already had split DNA. And that leads to my wings. Yes, I am a mutant demon human freak. But I could do much more than that. But now was not the time. I tilted my right wing to turn and fled into the night. I found a village to sleep in. I shouted, "Careful," said a voice in my head. "Shut up, Kyubi," I answered before streaking toward the village as the first rays of light danced into the sky. "Sakura, Sakura, time to get up," shouted a voice. A girl with pink hair threw open a door. "I am up," she shouted. Today was the day for the final testing to become a ninja in the village of Konoha. Most of the class had gotten kicked out of class over most of the year. Sakura was excited to become a ninja, so she skipped breakfast and walked out the door. The academy was right across the street from Sakura's house. Sakura was so deep in thought that she did not notice the streak of black land on the other side of the academy. The doors were open wide, and she waltzed in, smoothly and calmly. A boy with raven hair was trapped in a corner by a stampede of fangirls. Sakura only rolled her eyes, and paying no heed to the shrieking girls behind her, walking into her classroom. Why can't they just get over that boy? I'll never understand what the hell they see in him. God, sometimes, I just want to them with a live piranha. Just then, her best friend bounded up. "Hey Sakura, what's up?" Ino laughed. Sakura shrugged. "Nothing much," Sakura replied, dropping her bag on the floor by her desk. Ino smiled cheerfully, her blonde hair swinging freely behind her. "Hey, I have a great idea. Let's go talk to Sasuke-kun," Ino suggested, her eyes taking on a dreamy gleam. Sakura only stared at her. "No, I'd rather just hit you across the head with a piranha," Sakura muttered, gaining a confused glance from Ino. "Why a piranha?" Ino asked. Sakura rolled her eyes. "Because they bite hard," Sakura said. Ino shrugged and skipped off to Sasuke. Sakura rolled her eyes again at her friend's dumb-assness. Iruka-sensei walked into the classroom. He looked around the room, and sweat dropped. Sakura was the only girl in the room, like always. He shrugged. "Anyway, let's go over the transformation jutsu," Iruka said. The boy with blonde hair jumped from roof to roof. His wings were weary, but he had to hide them. He wore a black cloak, and he looked like a normal human. "Hurry up, Kit,"
I don't like it out in the open, said Kyubi. Kit nodded. Kit was headed for a red building, hoping he could sleep there. But in closer inspection, he found it to be heavily guarded.
Well, I have a way to deal with these bozos, Kit said. He reached into his pocket and raised his weapon to attack the guards. Whop! Did that guy just slap us with a piranha? One of the guards asked. Kit grinned. It's all I had left. Well, that and this piece of sting, Kit replied, pulling out a small white length of string. Then to his shock, the two guards gasped. Oh no! String! The first one yelled. The two dropped to the ground, bowing repeatedly. Please don't hurt us, we want to live, the second guard hollered in horror. Kit only stared on in confusion. He whipped the guards on the shoulder. I am the mighty and powerful String King. Cower before my awesome strength in whipping bits of twine, Kit screamed in enjoyment.
These guards, Kit thought. He walked into the red building, pushing his wings against his back tightly. Kit had to become a ninja to blend in with this village. Hopefully, the erasers would not find him.
Kit groaned as he ran into a wall. He was inside of the large red building, and there was no freaking door. Kit decided that he should follow his nose, but that brought him to a wall with no door. What have I always told you? Look for something that looks off, Kyubi said. Kit studied the wood. It was smooth and it was perfect except, that was it. In the middle of the wall was a large knot in the wood. Kit pressed it in and the wall slid aside to reveal a large room with a desk at the far side. Kit stepped in. This is it. I can finally stop worrying about running, Kit thought. Kyubi grunted. The shadows seemed to move. It had turned to night as Kit wandered the halls. The shadows were moving. Out of the shadows jumped 5 ninja that took Kit by surprise and pinned him to the ground. Kit lay still as thoughts and memories came streaming past his eyes. The white coats holding him down as they gave him a shot, being thrown into a dog cage. Kit spun around, throwing all of the ninjas off and into a wall. The seat at the desk spun around, showing that a woman with blonde hair. What the hell is going on here? I take a nap for 10 minutes, and this happens, she shouted. Kit straightened and pointed to the ninja. They started it, he shouted with his pout face. The blonde woman looked Kit over. Who are you and what do you want? She asked with caution. Kit's face brightened. My name is Kit. I do not know my last name. I am here to become a villager and get a job, Kit stated quickly. The woman looked Kit over again. We are running low on a number of jobs, and you could help. As for housing, we have an empty lot that you can build a house on. What kind of job are you looking for? The woman asked, pulling out a stack of paperwork. Kit thought for a moment. The lot will work perfect. As for the job, I am a skilled fighter, so I was thinking, ninja, Kit said. The woman stared at Kit. Fine. You have proven that you are skilled, but you will have to take a test first, she said. What kind of test? Kit asked. Cloning jutsu, she answered while looking down to the papers. There was a loud blast. The woman shot her head up. In front of her, there was 5 more Kits standing next to the original. This enough? Kit asked. The woman nodded and threw him a headband with the village symbol on the metal. Kit smiled as he tied it around his neck. The fabric was back, and went great with his clothes. Tomorrow's when the new ninja will be assigned teams. Report to the academy at 10 a.m. It will be that time in about 5 minutes, the woman said, glancing out the window. Kit yelped as he noticed that the night had passed faster than he thought. Kit turned on his heels and ran out the door and into the early morning without a backwards glance. He skidded around a corner, kicking up dust. The academy turned out to be closer than he thought, and he ran through the doors and into the classroom that Kyubi said was the right one. Kit sat in the first seat he saw, which was by a girl with short pink hair. Kit huffed before turning to the girl. She was reading a book labeled, How to Kick Someone's Ass. Kit giggled at the title. He tapped the girl's shoulder. Is this where you get assigned ninja teams? He asked. The girl nodded. Kit sighed and hid his face on the desk, starting a conversation with Kyubi. Hey Kyubi, what do I do now? Kit asked. Kyubi sighed. Wait for your team and your sensei. Kyubi said. No sooner after the fox said this, a man with a scar running across the bridge of his nose walked in and began to ramble off teams.
He went through a number of squads when, Squad 7, your sensei will be Kakashi. Sakura Haruno, Sasuke Uchiha, and Kit. The man said. Kit grinned.
Hours passed, and Squad 7 was the only team left. Kit had hid under his desk, and his two teammates did not realize they had another member. They thought they were the only two. After another hour, Kit sprang up, sending his desk and other teammates flying. "That's it!" Kit screamed. He stomped over to the door and grabbed a hunk of wood. Suddenly, a hand appeared from the other side of the door.
Kit grinned as a man with white hair stepped into the room.
KT jumped up with a shout and smacked the man across the face with the plank of wood. "That is what you get for being late," Kit growled before stalking over to the only desk that was not overturned. The man stood up. "Why am I teaching an idiot?" the man asked out loud. Kit scowled at the man. "Why am I being taught by a cyclops?" KT grumbled. The man stood still. He sighed. "Everyone, follow me up to the roof," he said. Kit grunted before springing out the window, climbing the wall with his hidden claws. On the roof, the man identified himself as Kakashi and told the team not much about himself. Then the boy named Sasuke and the girl named Sakura did the same. Now it was Kit's turn. "Let's see. My name is Kit. I do not have a last name. I guess I like flying. I dislike scientists. My dream is to live in peace with everyone and be a powerful individual," Kit said. Kit knew instantly he made a mistake saying he liked flying. Now they all might find his secret. But none of them noticed. In fact, they were now playing a card game with each other, looking completely serious. Sasuke threw in a card, which had the picture of a tuna fish. Sakura smiled.
"I have you cornered," she said, slapping down her card, revealing a piece of jelly toast. Sasuke's eyes widened. "No, not the dreaded breakfast card. It jump-starts your brain for a day full of learning. God, spare me," he yelled. He searched his deck, and found what he wanted. His smile returned and he placed a picture of a squirt gun on top. "Ha, I just demolished your piece of toast. Its water ammo made your toast a soggy, unappetizing, puke-inducing food." "Ha!" he screamed, his eyes triumphant. Sakura wilted in victory, revealing a blue feathered hat, a pair of neon pink socks, and a Dora blanket. But Kakashi still had a trick up his sleeve. "Throw in all your dog biscuits," he said, throwing down
the dreading string card. "No," both genin screamed. It was their worst nightmare brought to life. The string king card. How had he required such a high-level card? No one knew. Kit stared. It was a game of cards he had seen the white coats playing over and over. Kit had to hold himself back so he would not jump up and rip apart the cards. Kakashi smiled while standing. Well, it looked like a smile from behind the mask.
"I win," he said while walking back to his place by the ledge. "In 1 minute, I want you all to be at the training grounds," he stated before disappearing. "That means he will be there in an hour." The girl named Sakura giggled. Kit sighed. He began to stalk away with his head low to hide his face. "Might as well check out that lot," Kit said to himself. Apparently, Sakura and Sasuke were following him closely. "What lot?" Sakura asked. "Yeah, aren't you new here?" Sasuke asked with a scowl. He clearly did not like Kit because he was foreign. Kit nodded.
"Can we come with you? Just to see where you live," Sakura said, not sounding she completely trusted Kit either. Kit nodded. "Sure," he said. That was the last of the talking until the small group reached a large yard with no house. Wood was piled in a corner along with bricks and nails, pretty much everything anyone would need to build a house. "Cool," Kit said. He walked over to the wood and found a small rectangle of leather. Kit picked it up. It fell open, and inside was a card that signified he was a villager and a ninja. In a small pocket was a wad of cash along with a note that read, "Just to get you started." Kit grinned. Food. He could finally buy food. Kit stuck it in one of his many pockets on his black cloak. He turned and saw Sasuke and Sakura looking around. "I could help you build," Sakura said. She knew Kit was going to build a house. Kit nodded. "We can start tomorrow. But for now, we should get to the training grounds," Kit said. Sakura and Sasuke nodded. They walked in silence. Then Kyuubi spoke up. "The boy thinks you are a weak outsider,
and does not trust you.
The girl, she does not trust you. The fox said. Kit already knew that but pretended he did not. The training grounds came up before Kit thought they did. Kakashi was already there. I did tell you to be here in a minute, right? He asked, looking up from the orange book he was reading. Kit knew the book as Icha Icha. Kit had seen people reading that book, and he knew that it was for perverts. Sasuke and Sakura looked surprised about the earliness of their sensei. Anyway, you are going to have a test, he said, lifting 2 bells. You are to take these bells from me. Come with intent to kill. You will have until 2 hours after dinner to steal them. If you do not pass, you will be sent back to the academy, he finished.
But sensei, there are only 2 bells. Sakura pointed out. Kakashi smiled behind his mask. That's right, only 2 of you will pass. The other will be sent back to the academy. That individual is clearly not able to be a ninja, he said while glaring. Go, he screamed. Sakura and Sasuke disappeared. Kit stood still, smirking. You know, you are supposed to run. Kakashi said, you are new here and never attended the academy. You have not skills whatsoever. He finished while frowning. Kit grinned wider. No skills. Kit disappeared and reappeared behind Kakashi.
Kakashi gasped while jumping away from Kit. An idea sprung into Kit's head. The bells jangled. The ending to the book is, that was all Kit had to say. Kakashi closed his visible eye and covered his ears. Kit snatched the bells before backing away with a grin. Kakashi sensed Kit back away, and opened his eye. Sakura and Sasuke appeared. Kakashi frowned. Fine. Choose one of your teammates for the other bell. Kakashi said, waving his hand. Kit's grin grew larger as he handed both bells to Sakura and Sasuke. Kakashi looked surprised. Why did you do that? He asked. 'Cause I know what the trick is. It is teamwork. You wanted us to use teamwork. I thought of the team before myself. Therefore, I gave the bells to them. So, send me back to the academy. Just because I used trickery and cheated to get the bells. Kit said. Kakashi just stared. He sighed.
I cannot send any of you back. Congratulations. You pass. You were the first ever to get the idea of teamwork. Meet at the Hokage's tower tomorrow morning for our first mission. Kakashi disappeared. Kit looked forward.
Well, okay then, he said before stalking back to his lot. Kit groaned silently. The mission turned out to be an escort mission. His team had to escort a bridge builder. The bridge builder's name was Tazuna, and God, was he annoying. When Squad 7 first picked him up, he was drunk. The mission was supposed to be C rank. Whatever that is. And now Sensei says it has turned to a rank because of that bastard Zabuza. What is worse, I have to hide my wings and act like a weakling. Kit rambled on and on in his head. Oh, shut up. At least some of us can escape what you think and say, but I am stuck in some damn cage. So what if it is a rank? Shut up and enjoy the boat ride. Kyuubi growled. Kit stayed silent. Squad 7 was on a small boat being carried across a river that was crowded with mist.
And Tazuna would not shut up. He was rambling on and on about his grandson, Inari. Kit wanted to uncover his ears and tail while unfurling his wings and just jump from the boat and fly away. An idea sprang into Kit's head. He stood up, and tightened the strap that held his cloak in place. See ya at the shore, he shouted, before diving into the water before anyone could stop him. He could hear Kakashi jump in the boat at seeing his student dive into the river. Oh well, Kit was deep in the water. Kit inhaled deeply. Yes, Kit could breathe underwater. It was one of his many special powers, breathing underwater. Fish dashed away from Kit, but soon came to investigate. Kit groaned when he noticed the boat had stopped moving, signaling lunchtime. Kit sighed as he slowly paddled to the surface. His head popped out of the water, him grinning the whole time. Then he threw a large base into the boat while screaming, "Lunch is served." And it worked. Sakura screamed in surprise while Sasuke gasped. Kakashi looked over the edge of the boat, at Kit who was paddling around on his back. "Why did you throw a base into the boat?" he asked with a quizzical look. "Because the only koi fish big enough swam away," Kit said with a grin. "Now eat lunch and come swimming. The water's fine and we have plenty of time," Kit said before adding, "Throw me the base." Kakashi threw the base over the edge along with an apple.
He wanted Kit to eat. Kit caught the base and before he let it go, whispered, "Good job, Tion." That was an awesome prank. Kit let go of the base. The base turned on its side and gave a slight wave with its fin before diving back to the bottom of the river. Yeah, Kit could talk to sea creatures, any animal really. Kit shoved the apple into his mouth before throwing the core into the water to sink into the depths.
All of a sudden, Sasuke and Sakura dove into the water right next to Kit in their bathing suits.
Sakura resurfaced right before Sasuke. "Why don't you get into your bathing suit on?" "There is a room made for changing on the boats," Sakura said. Kit grimaced before swimming back a few feet. "I don't have one and don't need one." "Sasuke, I'll bet I can stay underwater longer than any of you," Kit said. The group agreed, as well did Kakashi, for he decided to go swimming also. Kit counted to 3 before the 4 dove under the surface and went down about 3 feet. Kit grinned at Sasuke. His grin said, "I bet I can touch the bottom of the pond." And Sasuke nodded in agreement to the challenge. Kit signaled with his fingers. 1.2.3. Go. And the two shot into the depths. Kit breathed in with a grin. He knew that the bottom was 100 feet deep at least. And the pressure would use up Sasuke's air, causing Kit to win. They had gone down 50 feet, before Sasuke pulled up, his face turning blue. Kit stopped diving and stared up at Sasuke. He was the first to resurface. A couple seconds passed before Sakura, then Kakashi shot past the surface. Kit grinned. He loved being able to breathe down here. What was another advantage? He could hear what they were saying. "Where is Kit?" Kakashi asked. "We were racing to the bottom of the river. He might still be going. It had to be 120 feet deep," Sasuke said. The group treaded water for a few minutes, then Sakura spoke up. "We need to find him. He must have drowned by now. It has been 5 minutes," she said, and then the group dove after Kit. Kit grinned while unfurling his wings. He turned back to the bottom of the river. He drove the wings down, and shot like a rocket to the muddy bottom. He was traveling so fast, he had to snap open his wings to not crash into the mud. He could hear the swishing of limbs thrashing in the water, and 2 other pairs far off. He could hear the sound of growling, and muted screaming. He knew what the growling was. It was a shark, and with Kit's keen sight, he could see that 62 feet up, a large shark had hold of Sakura's arm and was trying to rip it off. Kit growled a low and menacing growl that could be heard for miles by a normal human. He let his tail and ears reappear, and drove his wings down with a loud roar. He shot straight into the shark, causing Sakura to be released. The shark tumbled until it regained its balance. "Leave this place, now," Kit growled, but the shark did not listen. It shot forward, wrapping its jaws around Kit's left ankle. Kit suppressed a scream of pain. He could see Sakura's unconscious body sinking. Kit smashed his foot into the shark's eye, and that did the trick. Cursing in the language of the shark, it swam away. Kit dove after Sakura's body, and, wrapping his arms around his body in bridal style, he breathed in water, then screamed at the top of his lungs, "Shark! Get out of the water!" Sasuke, Kakashi. It seemed to do the trick. Sasuke and Kakashi were already swimming toward them. He had to get to the surface and hide his animal features, fast. Kit droved his wings down, shooting out of the water and falling into the boat as soon as he folded his wings in to hide them. Of course he hid his tail and ears too. He let Sakura roll out of his arms, his and her blood rolling off of their wounds. Sasuke and Kakashi were already in the boat, and they looked like they were going to scream like a little girl. "Hey, could I have some bandages?" Kit asked, not even looking tired. Although he did look like he was not enjoying the spilling blood. Kit stood up, and began to walk to a padded seat, but then he began to sway. Then he collapsed. Kit, he lost too much blood from the injury. Hurry, he could hear Kakashi's voice far off and faint. Kit felt a mental grin. He sounded like Kyuubi worrying his ass off again. Now it was Kyuubi's turn. Kit, stand up. Don't die on me, kid. Kyuubi shouted before Kit was surrounded by nothing but blackness. Kit groaned. "What the hell?" he asked. "What the fuck?" screamed Kyuubi. Kit opened his eyes. He was in a large room with a huge cage in the back. Kit was in ankle-deep water,
and behind the bars of the cage was the great Kyuubi. Kit grinned widely.
What do you mean? Kit asked, the grin still plastered to his face. Kyuubi growled.
You almost made me blow up. My heart skipped a beat. I thought you were dead. Kyuubi growled. Kit held up his hands up in a defensive position. I was just unconscious. God, can't you realize the difference? Kit asked. Kyuubi growled.
Get out of here. You're lucky I don't rip your head off. Kyuubi huffed. Kit grinned before disappearing. You're stuck behind bars anyway. Kit said, his voice died away.
On the outside, Kit sat up. He was in a room, on a mat on a floor with the door closed. His left leg was wrapped in bandages. That turned out a lot better than I thought. Kit said out loud. Kit stumbled up to a stand. His leg hurt, but this pain was nothing compared to what he had felt during his stay at the school. Kit walked over to the rice paper door. He slid it open and walked down the hall. His blonde hair was dry, so it must have been a long time since he had come here. Kit had to walk downstairs, but he just ended up sliding down the handrail. Kit heard voices in the kitchen, so he headed in that direction. Kit slid open another rice paper door, showing a large room with a low table that was crowded with his team and other people that Kit did not recognize. Kit closed the door behind him and leaned against a wall. The group stared at the blonde with confusion. Sakura was at the table, her arm that had been bleeding was wrapped in bandages. Hiya, Kit said with a grin. Sasuke stood up and stomped over to Kit, lifting him off the ground. How the hell did you stay underwater for over 5 minutes? Then you shoot out of the water and look like you are nearly dead. Sasuke screamed. Kit grinned, but that grin vanished.
Did you find anything weird under my shirt? Kit asked frantically. Sasuke slowly lowered Kit to the floor. No, it was your leg that was torn up, Sasuke said. He turned and walked back to his place at the table. Kit sighed in relief. He sat by Sakura, and got a plate of food from a woman who smiled at him. Kakashi eyed Kit with caution. Kit pretended like he did not notice.
Thank you for saving me from the shark. Sakura mumbled. Kit grinned and nodded in response while shoving a fried fish into his mouth. Sakura turned completely towards Kit. Can I talk to you alone? She asked. Kit looked longingly at his food, then nodded again. Sakura smiled, then pulled Kit out of the room before throwing him against the wall. What were those huge black things I saw you with? Sakura asked. Kit's eyes widened. My clothes are black, Kit said, trying to sound convincing. Sakura sighed, then punched Kit in the gut. Kit held his grounds, but winced in the process.
It was not. She hissed. Kit looked at the ground, then walked back to the kitchen. By the way things are going, you will find out, and I won't be able to stay in the village much longer either. Kit said, but the last to himself, but Sakura heard it. Kit sat back down at the table. Only now did he notice a little boy dressed in what seemed to be green, blue clothes with a hat covering his head. Sakura huffed as she sat down. Kit grinned. He had clearly pissed her off. The boy looked up. So you're saying he is a hero? The boy asked. Kakashi nodded. The boy slammed his hand on the table, standing up. There are no heroes. The boy shouted. Kit stopped chugging water.
You may be right, you may be wrong, Kit said. The group stared at him. Kit stood up, glaring back at the young child. But that does not mean that you can go around, yelling at everyone, making them feel like shit. Only one that is weak would be fine with that. It's pathetic, Kit said, storming out of room. I'm going for a walk. Kit growled while disappearing from sight. Sakura stood up and followed Kit out the door. Kit growled as he threw off his cloak. He stomped to a clearing and jumped.
Kit opened his wings and surged upward. He circled above the house as it slowly got smaller and smaller. Kit looked down, and saw Sakura picking up his cloak.
Damn, he cursed under his breath. Kit growled when he felt something approaching him.
He turned his head, and saw a group of 5 hawks headed his way.
No, not the flock. Kit tilted his wings and wheeled toward the hawks. Kit flew among the hawks, learning new formations for flying. Kit got tired of flying, and told the hawks he was leaving. The birds screeched in acknowledgement, and flew away. Kit circled to the ground and landed in a tight patch of trees. Kit folded his wings in, tight against his back.
He formed the rat hand seal, and summoned his cloak to him, slipping it onto his body.
Kit sighed. He walked back to the house. The boy who was at the table, named Inari, was waiting for him. "What would you know about it?" he asked. Kit raised an eyebrow. "What would you know about growing up without a father?" Inari screamed, tears gathering in his eyes. Kit walked up to the boy. As he walked past, Kit spoke something that made Inari jump. "I do know. You are more like me than you think. You see, I never had any parents," Kit said, walking into the house with Inari left behind. Kit sighed as he walked into the kitchen. His team was not there. He walked up to Inari's mom, Tsunami.
"Where's my team?" Kit asked with a smile. Tsunami smiled back. "They went to the bridge," she said. Kit's eyes widened. "The shitheads. They left me here," Kit screamed before running out the door. Kit huffed as he landed on the bridge. The bridge was being covered by mist. Kit trotted over to his team. "Why the hell?" Kit did not finish as he saw what was causing the mist. Zabuza. He was back, along with that boy from before named Haku. Kit scanned the bridge. It was Zabuza and Haku, against Squad 7. Not to mention the bridge builder, but he would not amount to anything helpful. "Sakura, you guard the bridge builder. Kit, Sasuke, you are against Haku," Kakashi ordered. Kit nodded his head, before he sprang forward and kicked Haku in the chest, sending him flying back. Sasuke ran forward with Kit until they were standing in front of the masked ninja. He held up a hand and preformed a seal. "Crystal ice mirrors," he said. Water formed from the mist, making a huge dome of ice mirrors. Haku melted back into one. Then the mirrors reflected Haku, making her look everywhere. Sasuke threw a kunai at the original, but it bounced off of the ice, not leaving a scratch. Sasuke growled. "Kit, try to get to the outside. If you do, you can probably destroy the mirrors," Kyuubi instructed. Kit nodded before forming 20 clones. Sasuke looked surprised at how many he created with barely any chakra needed. All of the clones jumped in different directions. The Hakus withdrew several of the needle knives, and threw them at Kit and the clones, dispelling all of them, including hitting the original in the shoulder. Kit winced as the needle connected with flesh. Kit tried again. This time, the original Haku came out of the mirror, going after the real Kit. Sasuke got an idea as Kit spun out of the way, back towards Sasuke. "Kit, can you do that again?" Sasuke asked. Kit nodded, forming several more clones. Kit dove for the mirrors, and Haku dove after him. Sasuke formed several hand seals and spit a large fireball at the diving masked ninja. But Haku saw it coming, threw some more needle knives into Kit's side, then retreated back into the mirror before the fire reached him. Kit hit the ground in pain, but stumbled back over to Sasuke. "Do you think you can do that one more time?" Sasuke asked. Kit nodded, but it turned out the same way as before. Kit rolled over to Sasuke. "That did not work," he muttered. Sasuke looked in circles for an escape path. There was none. "I don't think we can get out to the outside," he said. Kit sprang up. "Why don't you try? It is not as fun as it looks," Kit said. Sasuke growled. Kit stepped aside and took a fighting stance, despite the needles telling him otherwise. Sasuke also dropped into his fighting stance. They were going to fight until they had nothing left. The two looked at each other out of the corners of their eyes. Kit's fox ears twitched. Kit always had them. He just used a jutsu so they were invisible and nobody could feel them, except him. XD. Air was whistling behind the two. Kit pushed Sasuke out of the way before jumping out of the path. Sasuke rolled to a stop. Kit was not so lucky. Haku had changed course at the last second, and plunged several needle knives into Kit's flesh. He was paralyzed and defenseless. "Now," Haku said to himself before going to finish off Kit. Sasuke jumped up, and ran in front of Kit, taking the needles into his own flesh. Kit regained his ability to move, and sat up, groaning, happy no needles hit his back. But the happiness grew and faded. Haku was on the ground, but Sasuke was near death. The raven-haired boy was falling back to the ground. Kit lunged and caught the falling boy. "Why?" Kit asked, tears gathering in his eyes. Sasuke grinned, his eyes growing dimmer and dimmer by the second. "I don't know. My body acted before my mind.
Loser. Sasuke muttered, his eyes closing. His head fell back and gently tapped the pavement. Kid let shadows cover his eyes, and softly lay Sasuke's stiff body on the ground.
Is this the first time you have seen a friend die in battle? Haku asked, melting back into a mirror. Kid leaned over the body of his friend. Shut up. Kid muttered, heat spreading through his body, feeling a surge of power. Haku raised a hidden eyebrow. Kid's tail that was swishing the ground appeared, along with his ears that were laid flat against the top of his head. They were turning a darker red, the color of blood. Haku's eyes started to fill with fear. Everyone always fears the unknown. The whisker marks on his cheeks became darker and thicker.
His eyes flashed from blue to red, the pupils slit like a cat's. His fangs and claws became longer and sharper. Kid growled, ripping his wings through the back of his cloak. His wings were no longer black, but red. He stretched them out to their full length, touching each side of the box of ice mirrors. If Haku was not terrified by the changes, he sure was by the wings. Kid turned to face Haku, staying hunched over. The masked boy immediately felt the bloodlust and anger that poured from the boy.
Red chakra swirled around the kid's feet, shooting up in a spiral and taking on the form of a fox to the top. Kid growled, his tail swishing back and forth. His cuts healed, shooting the needles in different directions. Kid growled louder, then leaned back and roared to the sky. Meanwhile, Kakashi skidded to a halt. Zabuza was an even match without the mist. But with it, Kakashi was helpless. Nothing could be seen. Zabuza's laughter echoed through the mist, surrounding everyone. Suddenly, a huge weight was placed on everyone's shoulders. Kakashi's eyes widened. He felt this bloodlust before. Kyuubi. Almost 16 years ago, the great nine-tailed fox had attacked the village of Konoha. Many were lost, but Kyuubi had been sealed, and then the village elders destroyed the container. And that was that. But, then, what was Kyuubi's presence doing here? Kakashi could hear Zabuza gasping for breath, for he too knew Kyuubi's aura was near. Seeing an opening, Kakashi took it. In the dome, Kid dodged a group of needles. The chakra that had enveloped him made him feel great. But he could not see what he was doing. It was like someone took his emotions and was controlling him accordingly. But who the hell cared? Kid felt a numbing sensation cover his body, but then it was blasted away with chakra. Needles, no doubt, had smashed through his flesh. Suddenly, everything came into view, and he could see what he was doing. He had some control, but he felt someone else guiding his motions. Haku was diving from a broken mirror, attempting to stab Kid in the back, in between his wings. Kid grinned, and twisted out of the way. Now he truly felt like an animal. Kid spread his wings to their full 14-foot wingspan and tilted them up to make him appear larger. Kid growled before leaping forward and punched Haku in the face. The boy flew back and smashed a mirror. Kid landed. "I am going to fucking kill you," Kid snarled. And it was true. Kid felt like killing. "Hey, look at Sasuke," Kyuubi said. Kid grumbled while turning his head. Sasuke's chest was starting to move again. Kid felt hot tears streak down his face. The red slowly creped down his wings, turning them back to black until the red had disappeared where his wings met his back. Kid was back to his normal-ish self. If you call a mutant demon human freak normal. Kid stood up, slowly pulling his wings back to his back. "Kyuubi, I have never felt better," Kid screamed in his mind. "Say hello to my chakra then," Kyuubi muttered. Haku was slowly standing up, his mask shattered. Kid slowly walked over to Haku. Kid was the same height as Haku, so staring up at him was out of the question. "If you ever touch one of my teammates again, I will kill you," Kid growled, before marching back towards Kakashi. Sakura was too busy treating a gash on Tezuna's arm to notice Kid. Kid grinned, unfolded his wings, and did that sideways dance right past her. The mist was clearing while Kid let his wings sag by his sides. Kakashi and Zabuza were watching a group of thugs approach them. Kid summoned a wall of earth to cover Sakura, Tezuna, and Sasuke to protect them for the moment. Then he cleared his throat to talk to Kakashi. The masked ninja stared forward. Then he spoke. "This is a bad time, but what did you mean with the finding strange things under your shirt?" he asked, not looking his way. Kid glanced at the ground.
He felt like he was back at the school. It felt so weird.
You will know sooner than you think, Kit said. Kakashi looked confused, before turning around. Kit stared at the ground as he felt Kakashi's fear swell, and him take a few staggering steps back. Kit looked up, his wings dragging on the ground. They stood out, black against white. Told you, Kit said. Kakashi took a deep breath. Are they real? He asked. Before Kit could answer, he felt his sensei pulling on his ears and tail. Then, ever so carefully, touched his wings. He stepped back. Holy shit. They are real. Kakashi breathed. Kit nodded. You will tell me about this later. But for right now, we still have a demon of the mist and thugs to deal with, Kakashi said. Kit grinned.
No, no demon, that is my title, Kit said. He walked up to Zabuza, and punched him in the shoulder. Hey, Zabuza, we are going to make a treaty, Kit said. What makes you say that? Spat the demon of the mist, while turning. He nearly fell back. He had a close-up view of Kit's wings, ears, and tail. Kit waved with a grin. Hiya, he said. Zabuza stepped back. What are you? He asked in a shaky voice. Kit groaned, while Kakashi just stared with confusion.
If you will behave, I will tell you later. Now do we have a treaty?
Kit growled, showing off his long fangs, just to scare him. Zabuza nodded, stumbling back. Kit threw a hand in the air. Huddle, he yelled. Kakashi and Zabuza looked at each other, before walking closer to Kit. Okay, Kakashi, you go left, Zabuza you go left. I go high, and we split em up. Got it, Kit whispered enthusiastically. Kakashi and Zabuza shook their heads. Kit groaned, sighed. He held out his hand. Give your sword, Kit said to Zabuza. The masked nin dragged the sword over. It is too heavy for you though, he mumbled, slamming it into the ground. Kakashi nodded.
I can't even lift it, he said. You don't have to worry what I can and can't lift, he said, gripping the hilt of the sword and ripping it out of the ground as if it was a feather. Kit turned, tail wagging lightly. Kit waved. Bye-bye, he said before disappearing. Kakashi and Zabuza just stared in disbelief. Kit slid to a stop in front of Haku, earning a yelp of surprise. Kit slammed the sword into the ground. Hiya. Zabuza has made a treaty with the Leaf Ninja and me. So do you want to help beat the shit out of some damned thugs? He asked. Haku, whose mask was totally gone, looked at the sword, then at Kit, then at the thugs. He nodded. Kit grinned. He turned and unfolded his wings. Get on, Kit said. Haku hesitated, before climbing onto Kit's back. Kit grabbed the large sword. Thank you for flying Kitsune Airlines. Please keep all hands, heads, and feet in the vehicle at all times. And don't throw up on this ride. Thank you, Kit said before running and springing up into the air, and pushed down with his 14-foot wingspan. Suddenly, a pain went into Kit's black wings. Kit started to descend, clumsily, trying to stay airborne. A warmth spread through his body, and Kit felt fine again. Hey Kit, you have a new skill. You can read minds now. And your wings grew into a 15-foot wingspan, Kyuubi said. Kit inhaled before driving his bigger wings down. Are you okay? Haku asked. Kit inhaled again before answering. Yeah. My wings just hurt a bit, but I'm better now. Kit huffed. Haku looked uncertainly towards the ground far below. Kit shook his head. Voices were flooding into his mind. I'm going to kill the kid with the mist mask, was one voice that made Kit's eye twitch. Where did this stone wall come from? Kit knew that was Sakura. There were other mumbles, but Kit shut them out. It was surprisingly easy. Now Kit and Haku were over the thugs. The idiots did not notice. Again, thank you for flying Kitsune Airlines. Have a nice day. Kit screamed, tucking his wings into his sides and dove down. Haku screamed and laughed at the same time. Yeah. The two screamed in unison, catching the tugs off guard. A couple of feet from the crowd, Kit twisted in a corkscrew spin, looking like a spinning torpedo. Kit snapped his black wings open and shot over the crowd with only 2 feet to spare. Haku began to laugh. Kit joined in, and swung the sword.
The silver sword chopped through multiple targets, clearing a path. Haku pulled out more needle knives, throwing them with great practice at the throats of the thugs. Kit gripped the hilt of the sword tightly, before swinging it, letting it fly through the crowd and hit anyone in the way.
The crowd of thugs got the idea, and dove out of the way of Kit, but some got smacked in the back of their heads by his wings.
Kit tilted up, and shot higher into the air. Haku pointed to a short man in the back, looking back and forth with confusion. "There, that's the boss," Haku said, gripping Kit's cloak tightly. Kit surveyed the land. Behind the boss, named Gato, was the deep lake the bridge was being built over. He glanced back at Haku. "This may sound weird, but can you breathe underwater?" Kit asked with a small smile. Haku stared at Kit like he was crazy. "That is impossible. I can hold my breath for 4 minutes, but not breathe," he shouted. Kit shrugged, holding his wings so he glided forward.
"Well then, take a deep breath," Kit said, before diving toward Gato. Kit inhaled deeply. "Gato's got a death wish," Kit roared with a large grin. Gato looked up and screamed as he saw the human, with 6 limbs and the boy who worked for him on his back.
Kit grinned, slamming into Gato with a yell. "Have fun in heel,"
Kit screamed, folding in his wings and plummeting down to the water. Kit felt Haku take a deep breath, right before they slammed into the water.
Kit grinned, before laughing out loud. Gato was trying to breathe, but, yeah, they were underwater. Kit kept laughing and using chakra to propel him to the bottom of the lake.
When they got to the bottom, Gato was dead. Kit threw the body into an underwater cave, before opening his wings slowly. He drove them down, shooting straight up. They crashed through the water with a cry of triumph.
Kit reached the bridge with ease, and landed at the edge.
The thugs were in the distance, screaming as they ran. Haku jumped to Kit's side, while he hid his wings under his cloak again. Kit sighed. "Oh well," he said, shaking himself to rid his body of water.
Kit formed the rat seal, and his tail and ears disappeared.
Haku stared at him. "What?" he asked. Haku shook his head, and walked off to find Zabuza.
Kit shrugged, and followed, over to where the 2 masked ninjas stood. Kit looked behind them, the dome of earth that had surrounded Sakura and Tazuna. "Oops," he said. Kit formed a dog seal. "Release," he mumbled, and the earth turned into water, melting down to nothing. Sakura and Tazuna were standing in the middle, looking confused. Even more confused when they saw Haku and Kit joking around, and Zabuza and Kakashi talking. "Where is Sasuke?" she asked. Kit stopped laughing, and glanced back at where he had left Sasuke. The dome of earth had melted along with the other one. Sakura stared at his motionless body. Kit thought, trying to read her thoughts, when he heard Sasuke's voice. "What the hell happened?" his voice asked. Kit screamed with glee, and materialized by Sasuke. He shook his shoulder. "Time to get up," Kit screamed. Sasuke groaned, but did not get up. Kit sighed, picked him up and threw him back down. "Wake up, damn it," Kit screamed. Sasuke sat up and rubbed the back of his head. "What the hell?" he asked, but Kit was already walking toward the woods with Haku running after him. Kit was mumbling to himself something about being hungry. Kakashi smiled. "What's your problem?" Sasuke called after him. "Going to go flying again?" Sasuke taunted. Kit froze in place. He turned after a while to face the group. "Maybe, yeah, I am," Kit said with a grin, and then began to laugh. Kakashi and Haku began to laugh along with him. Sasuke and Sakura looked confused. Kit felt their confusion.
"Inside joke," Kit called back before disappearing into the forest. Sasuke looked even more confused while Sakura looked brain dead.
"What?" the 2 asked. Kakashi looked to the woods just in time to see a streak of black crash through the trees and into the sky. "Dash!" Kit growled as he crashed into the ground. He and Haku were flying back to Inari's house, when Kit had heard Inari crying for help. He and his mother were on a dock, his mother already unconscious. Inari was being beaten by 2 thugs. Kit had ended up crashing into the dirt with Haku jumping onto a nearby tree. Kit pulled in his wings and hid them behind his cloak. "Show time," he mumbled. Haku gave him a question-filled glance. Kit held a thumbs up before pouncing from his hiding place. "Hiya!" Kit screamed at the top of his lungs. The two thugs were surprised and stumbled back while Inari looked relieved.
Kit-sama. He shouted with a smile. The thugs gritted their teeth. Who the hell are you? The thug on the right asked, pulling out a sword.
Kit grinned. Time to have some fun, he thought. Kit pout on a serious robot face. I am experiment -2,596,369. Naruto said in a metallic voice. Inari looked confused while the thugs laughed hysterically. What kind of fucking trick is that? Experiments. The man on the left laughed. Kit stopped smiling and put on a real serious face. Inari, don't look at me until I say you can. Got it? Kit asked seriously. Inari nodded and looked away in confusion.
You will now see why I am an experiment, Kit growled. The thugs now looked a little scared. Kit inhaled before taking a step forward. I hope you are not afraid of heights. Or foxes, Kit said, his ears and tail shimmering into existence. Kit shrugged off his cloak and snapped open his wings. The thugs were grabbed by the back of the neck and carried up 80 feet and dropped to their deaths before they could scream. Kit landed heavily and folded his wings against his back before throwing on his cloak, his ears and tail disappearing. Haku came from his hiding place, laughing his head off. Inari turned to face Kit, his jaw dropping, seeing his mother on Kit's back, the thugs gone, and Haku slapping Kit a high five. Inari stuttered unknown words, while Haku kept laughing. Kit walked off in the direction of Inari's house, which was not far. Inari had to run to catch up with Kit and Haku. Kit pulled Inari's hand as they neared a huge and vertical cliff. Haku followed closely behind. Come on, Inari. I have to show you something. Kit repeated over and over. Little did the group know, but Sasuke and Sakura were secretly following. Haku knew what was in store for Inari, but no one else, besides Kit, knew. The cliff came into view and Kit peered over the side. The cliff reminded Kit too much of the one he had escaped from a week ago. Sakura and Sasuke hid in a bush. What is he going to do? Sakura asked. Sasuke shrugged. Kit grabbed Inari and lifted him up so they were facing the same way, with Inari in a tight hold. Hold on, Kit said, then fell backwards from the cliff. Haku fell over laughing. Sakura and Sakura ran over to the laughing boy. Why did you not stop the suicidal maniac? The two screamed. Haku stopped laughing and stood up, fear in his eyes as he looked back and forth from the cliff. You two should not be here. Kit will be fine. Go. Haku screamed. His voice was harsh, and Sasuke pulled Sakura in the direction of the house. Before Sakura could ask questions, Sasuke sank back behind a bush to watch. Inari screamed with glee as the two shot up out of the ravine on Kit's 16-foot feathered wings. Sasuke and Sakura starred in fright as their new teammate pushed down the large wings. Kit landed lightly on the cliff. Haku grinned, climbing onto Kit's back carefully. Kit rolled his eyes. You don't have to act like you will break my back. I do have super strength, remember? Kit asked before taking a running start and shooting into the sky. Sakura jumped to the top of a tree, watching Kit wheel through the sky. Whatever we do, we can't tell him we saw this, Sakura said to Sasuke. Somewhere by the coast of Fire Country, 6 pairs of wings flapped in a steady beat. Where the hell did this land come from? Asked a small boy with blonde hair asked. Another boy with blonde hair shrugged. Yeah, isn't it pretty? He asked sarcastically. A girl with dark brown hair held back laughter. It is pretty, Iggy, she shouted over the growing wind. Sure. Make fun of the blind guy, Iggy complained. The group of 6 laughed excluding Iggy. Fang, Iggy, Nuge, Gazi, Angel. Keep your eyes open for any humans. The dark blonde-haired girl shouted. Hi, Max, the group shouted, driving down their wings. Fang, a boy with black wings, looked to the horizon. Hey Max, look at that, he shouted. In the distance, it looked like a small butterfly was careening through the sky. But that was miles away. Its wingspan had to at least be 16 feet. Max's eyes widened. Let's head that way, she said, and the group of bird kids followed. Great. Back to the village. Where I can't fly, Kit had thought. Be happy you can at least move around. It is very dark in here, and I can't move more than 5 feet in any direction. Kyuubi had screamed.
And this brought Kit to the present. Right now in the story.
Demon or human feet? Kit asked. Demon. Kyuubi answered.
Demon feet were at 1/4 of a mile wide for each foot. But it was still small for the size of Kyuubi. Naruto sighed before flopping down at a seat at the table. Sasuke and Sakura eyed him out of the corner of their eyes. Kakashi and Zabuza stood against a wall, staring at Kit as he let his head fall to the table with a loud bash. Haku began to laugh when Kit rubbed his forehead. That was not funny, you bastard. That hurt, Kit screamed. Haku only laughed harder. Kakashi took his body off the wall and sighed. Kit, you know we have something to discuss. We are going to eat in town today, Kakashi announced. Kit looked from Haku to Kakashi.
Can Haku come too? He asked. Kakashi nodded. Zabuza and Haku are coming. Sakura, Sasuke, stay here. Kakashi answered. Kit turned pale as he noticed what they were going to be discussing. His wings. Oh great. Kit said, getting up and following Kakashi and Zabuza, with Haku still laughing behind them. Sasuke and Sakura looked at each other before nodding and going out another door to follow. Kit sighed as he took the sack off food from one of the vendors in town. Kakashi had said that they would be going into the forest to talk.
Kit had done a little dance. Being alone meant no erasers and white coats to be under disguise. But then he had remembered what they would be talking about, and returned to looking glum. Kit stalked behind the other ninja as they walked farther and farther into the woods. Haku was talking about the water jutsu that he could teach Kit, while Kakashi told Zabuza about Konoha and the houses available if he and Haku ever wanted to live there.
Kit groaned as they reached a huge clearing. The diameter had to be at least 20 feet, here is fine. Kakashi announced, and sat down against a tree with his small bag of food. Everyone, except Kit, had one of those small brown lunch bags. Kit has a huge brown grocery bag. Kit slumped down a few feet from a tree and reached his hand into his bag, bringing out a cup of instant ramen. He looked at it quizzically. It's ramen. Haku explained, and handed him a kettle of hot water. Fill up the cup with the hot water, then eat it, he said. Kit took the kettle.
Oh, Kit said, and filled the cup up with water. Kit allowed his tail and ears to appear before setting the kettle down. Zabuza was munching on an apple, while Kakashi had already finished his bag. Kit, you bought a lot of food. I don't think you will be able to eat all 20 pounds. Kakashi said, staring at the orange-red ears. Kit grinned. You will see, he announced, draining his first ramen cup in seconds. Holy shit, this tastes good, he announced with a smile. Haku set down his half-empty ramen cup and stared at Kit in amazement. You mean you never have had ramen before? He asked. Kit shook his head, filling another cup with water. Where I came from, the only food we ever got was rotten apples. Some got dog food, I got fucking bird seed. Kit growled, draining the cup. The three stared at him in shock. Kit stopped halfway from biting a banana. His right fox ear twitched. Someone is coming, he said, forming a hand sign. The four and their food disappeared. I used this jutsu to hide my tail and ears. Stay quiet, Kit whispered. Not 5 seconds after he said this, Sasuke and Sakura jumped into the clearing. I swear, I felt Kakashi's chakra signature over this way, Sakura said. Sasuke groaned.
Well, it isn't here now, he said before jumping back the way they had come. Kit let his arms drop, causing everyone and their food appear. Damn it. Making all of us disappear and hide our chakra is tiring. Kit huffed before slumping forward. He shot back up into a straight position with his banana back in his hand and a smile on his face. I got my banana, he said before it vanished into his mouth. He grinned. Bye banana, he said with a laugh. Kakashi straightened. Kit, you know why we are out here. We want an explanation, Kakashi said. Kit stopped eating an orange and stared at him. He shoved the orange into his mouth, swallowed, then sighed. Fine. I am kind of a Hanyu. Kit started, earning a shocked stare from Teehee Group. An even more shocked look came from Zabuza. His nickname was a demon, but this kid truly was one. I said I was a Hanyu, a half-blood. Not a full-blood, Zabuza, Kit stated. How did you? I thought that. How did you hear it? Zabuza asked. Kit tapped the right side of his head.
I can read minds, Kit answered blankly. He thrust a finger at Kakashi. He thinks that all of this is a prank, and Haku wants to go flying again. Kit said, proving his point. A black bird landed on Kit's head, in between his ears. The bird chirped something, looking down at Kit. Kit began to laugh lightly. What's so funny? Kakashi asked. The bird says that you guys smell funny. And he wants me to go flying with him. Kit explained. Before anyone could say anything, a blue jay landed on Kit's foot. It began to chirp frantically, and pull on Kit's cloak while chirping. Kit's eyes widened. What's wrong? Haku asked. Kit carefully stood up.
I'll be right back, was the only warning before Kit jumped into a tree and disappeared. The three ninjas sat still, quizzical looks on their faces. Kit suddenly was sitting back where he had been, as if nothing had happened. The blue jay was on his shoulder, with a baby blue jay in his cupped hands. This baby was stuck under a rock. Kit explained, setting the chick on the ground. The blue jay landed next to her baby and chirped happily. She turned to Kit, did a clumsy bow, then flew away with her baby flying awkwardly next to her. Kakashi, Haku, and Zabuza sat, mouths hanging open. How did that bird know you could help? Kakashi asked. Kit grinned, showing off his huge canines. Ya know that huge base I threw into the boat on the way here. He apparently has been talking to a lot of animals about me and how I can talk to them. Kit said. No sooner after he had said this, he slumped forward with a shout of surprise. On his back was a small, bright orange fox. The fox began to yelp and yip while pawing Kit's back. Kit reached back and pulled the small fox kid off his back and set it on his head. Don't sneak up on me, Kaji, he said playfully. The fox yipped an apology. Its name is Kaji? Haku asked. Kit nodded. That's what he told me. His parents are gone. He is going to be living with me. Kit answered. Kaji barked and licked the side of Kit's face. Kit grumbled something under his breath while breaking a clementine orange in half, and handing the one half to Kaji, swallowing the other half whole. Kakashi cleared his head before moving on. So, you truly are a Hanyu? He asked. Kit nodded. Fox Hanyu, he confirmed while sharing a rice ball with Kaji. Kakashi thought for a moment, sorting through the questions in his head. Zabuza beat him to the question he had picked out. You said that you could talk to animals. What powers do you have? He asked. Kit thought for a moment. Talk to animals, read minds, breathe underwater, fly, go supersonic, blend in with my surroundings when sitting still, other stuff. I can't narrow it down. Kit listed. How do you fly? Haku blurted. My bones are built like a bird's. Lightweight, and of course, wings. Kit answered. Kaji sat down on Kit's shoulder. What is your wingspan? Kakashi asked. Kit sighed. They were really going off topic now. 16 feet last time I checked. Kit stated. Kakashi and the others sat still. Well, show them, Haku said. Kit began to grumble as he pulled off his cloak. Zabuza and Kakashi watched in amazement and horror as Kit unfolded his wings. Keeping his black wings open, he waited for any more questions. Are they real? Zabuza asked. Kit stretched his left wing out to him. Knock yourself out, Kit grumbled. Zabuza carefully stroked the feathers. After a few seconds, Kit pulled his wing back over to his body. Zabuza nodded in confirmation. They were real. Kit smashed his wings against his back, grabbing his cloak. Well, if we are done here, I am going to leave. I want to go swimming, Kit said, standing up. Kakashi began to stutter. Wait, how did you get the wings? Kakashi asked. Kit half turned. I will only say this for now. I was born with them. Never ever trust a scientist with your child, Kit said before disappearing. Kaji in his food bag that was half empty. The group stared after the Kitsune Hanyu with horror in their eyes. Kit disappeared behind a group of trees and bushes before turning back. Haku, are you coming or just going to sit there? Kit screamed. Zabuza, Haku, and Kakashi jumped up and followed the Hanyu. Sasuke and Sakura waved their arms to stay afloat in the water. The two genin had given up on the search for Kit and the others, and decided to go swimming in a shark-free lake. I wonder when they will be back, Sakura wondered out loud. The two were 70 feet out into the large lake. Seconds passed before the sound of quiet splashes reached their ears. When they turned, they screamed and sank deeper into the water. Banzai! Kit and Haku screamed, diving into the water after running out to the middle of the lake on the water. Kit and Haku resurfaced after a few seconds, smiling and slapping each other a high five. Haku was wearing swim trunks that were blue and green. Kit was wearing black swim trunks with a red fox, one tail, on the bottom of the right leg. Kit grinned. "Hiya," he said in a happy voice. Sakura looked around with confusion, her mouth hanging open. "How the hell did you get out here?" Sasuke asked. Kit grinned wider. "Swim really fast," he answered. Sakura began to swim circles around Kit. She huffed and swam back to Sasuke's side before whispering something in his ear. She said that Kit did not have wings. All of a sudden, two more figures dove into the water, one next to Sasuke and Sakura, the other right on Kit's head. "What the hell, blub blub?" Kit's scream was cut short as he was driven into the water.
Inari resurfaced way before Kit. When Kit bobbed to the surface, he was gasping for air, surprising Haku and Kakashi. Remember, they already know Kit can breathe underwater. Kit flashed a grin to them before looking at Inari.
"How did you get out here?" Kit asked. Inari flashed a smile. "Kakashi-sama ran me out here," Inari replied. Kit nodded in acknowledgement. "Kakashi, Haku, I bet that I can say something underwater and you would not understand it," Kit challenged. Haku and Kakashi accept the challenge, and on three, they plunged to the deeper water. Kakashi and Haku watched Kit as he checked the surface and faced them with a grin. He opened his mouth and inhaled loudly.
"Told you I could breathe underwater." Kit grinned. No air bubbles rose from his mouth. His voice was clear in the water. Kakashi and Haku watched as Kit did little flips in the water. A small bluegill swam up to Kit and moved its small mouth, making small smacking sounds. Kit laughed and slapped a high five to the fish. The small bluegill swam off. Kit looked at the confused look on Kakashi's and Haku's face. "Fish joke," Kit said blankly. Kakashi and Haku widened their eyes, and covered their mouths. "Yeah, that is so ninja-like." Forgetting that they needed to breathe, the two resurfaced, Kit shortly following with a grin plastered on his face. Inari let tears stream down his face. Kit just stared with a sad smile on his face. The bridge was finished. Kit and the others had to leave. Zabuza had to go and finish cleaning up Gato's buildings, and would come to Konoha in a few months. Haku had decided to come to Konoha along with Kit. Inari sniffled. "But Kit, you can't go yet," he whined. Kit smiled before holding his arm up into a thumbs up. All watched. Everyone had learned that Kit had lived a life without friends and family. Kit had said that in his life, he felt like he lived in a cage. He did. Sakura had asked why he did not turn out to be a rude bastard. Kit explained it was probably that he had just wanted a friend. Now everyone watched with sad and surprised faces.
"I have to, Inari. I promise, I will come back and visit as soon as possible. And I never go back on my promises. That is my nindo."
"My ninja way," Kit said, smiling with his eyes closed. Kakashi's eyes widened. This boy looked exactly like his old sensei, the fourth Hokage. Imagine that happy, wood flute music playing here. You know, the one from the first episode when Naruto fights Mizuki. XDO ya, and Kit's hair has grown to look exactly like the fourth Hokage's hair. His father's spitting image. XD, Kakashi began to think. Kit could not be the fourth Hokage's long-lost son, could he?
Inari nodded, tears still falling. Kit reached into his pocket and pulled out a small dagger. On the sheath was a carving of what looked like birds, spiraling straight up around the black wood. Kit carefully pulled the blade from the sheath. The blade was a brilliant silver, with the words, "Protect," written on the blade. The hilt was bound tightly with black leather. The guard was in the shape of feather wings. Kit slowly slid the blade back into the sheath with a soft clink. A strap made of black leather was attached to the sheath, made for holding the blade at the side of the waist. Kit smiled before handing the weapon to Inari. "Here. Something to remember me by. Keep it close. It was the first weapon I ever got. If you ever are in need of more than just a small dagger, say the word, 'protect,' and fire shall be on your side," Kit explained. The blade made the sound of a sword being pulled from its sheath at the mention of its name. Inari held the weapon close to his chest. "Thank you, Kid-sama," Inari said. Kit smiled warmly. The fox Hanyu reached into his backpack and pulled out the small fox called Kaji. "Kaji looks like a normal fox." Sakura gasped. Instead of a man pulling a rabbit out of a hat, a fox Hanyu pulls a fox kid out of his backpack. Yay. "Hey guys, if we are to go back, I want you to meet my new pet, Kaji," Kit said, holding the fox in his arms. Kaji barked and licked Kit's hand. Kit smiled while rolling his eyes, placing the small ox on top of his head. Sakura squealed. "Oh my god. He is so cute," she screamed. Kit and Kaji both winced at the loudness of her voice. Sometimes being a fox Hanyu is not the best thing, Kit thought.
No complaining. Before I ended up here, I had to walk the lands. Hearing everything, it got so annoying, I tried to kill myself. Kyubi stated.
"What happened?" Kit asked. "I am immortal. I can't be killed. Come to think of it, you are immortal too, if you want to be," Kyubi replied. Kit rolled his eyes again. He gave a small wave to Inari before turning with his team and walking down the bridge. Tazuna watched the boy go. "What are we going to call the bridge?" Tsunami asked. Inari watched as the boy with the kitsune's name leave. "The Great Kitsune Bridge," Inari said confidently. Nobody could come up with a better name. "Are you sure you want to leave, Inari? You could build a house there and live close to them," Kyubi suggested. Kit grinned. "No, I still have to shut down the schools before the whitecoats can harm anyone else," Kit explained, nearly tripping over a rock. "And going back to Konoha is going to help how?" Kyubi asked. Kit thought for a moment.
"I don't know. It just feels right. Kind of like a home," Kit said. Kyubi mumbled something that sounded like, "duh," but Kit could hardly hear it. "Hey Kit-sama, where are we going?" Kaji asked in fox language.
"The village I am currently living in, Konoha," Kit whispered. Kaji nodded before taking a comfortable spot on Kit's head. Sasuke and Sakura were in a conversation about training tactics while Kakashi looked back and forth from his Sasuke and Sakura, and Kit, Kaji, and Haku. Kakashi sighed as the sun began to sink behind the horizon. "We are a little ways off from Konoha. Do you three want to keep going?" Kakashi asked. Kit got a determined look in his eyes. "Hell yeah!" the three genin shouted. Haku remained silent, as if thinking. Kit did a fist pump, and Kaji mimicked the act. Sasuke and Sakura stared in confusion at the two foxes. Kit cleared his throat. I mean, yes. Let's continue on." "Kakashi-sensei, have you told them yet?" Kit asked. Kakashi scratched the back of his head sheepishly.
"Haha, I have decided to enter you three into the Chunin exams. But the tests start tomorrow. So I was seeing if you two could continue on," Kakashi explained. Sakura looked confused. "Two?" she asked. Kakashi nodded. "I know Kit can continue on," Kakashi said. Kit grinned before pumping his fist in the air again.
Kit stared in amazement. Kit, Sasuke, Sakura, and Haku stood at the front of a room filled with hundreds of other ninja from other villages. "Holy shit!" Kaji yelped from atop Kit's head. "Hey! Who's the boy?" shouted a boy with brown hair and sitting on top of a huge white dog. Kit stared at the boy. "Can I get that big?" Kaji asked happily. Kit thought for a moment. "I can get you that big later," Kit whispered. The dog walked over to Kit, and the boy slid off and looked Kit in the eyes. "What?" Kit spat, hardly a question. "Who are you?" the boy said slowly. Kit glared. "Kit." He deadpanned. The boy sat still for a moment before pulling away, laughing. "This boy is named after a little fox," he laughed. Everyone but Team 7 began to laugh. And Hinata, but she is hiding at the moment. Kit could feel Kyubi get very pissed, but told him to calm down. The dog boy pointed a finger close to Kit's face, and kept laughing. Kit glared. His hand shot up faster than the naked eye could see, gripping dog boy's hand tightly and at a funny angle. Kit pushed chakra into his hand, and gripped tighter until everyone heard a loud crack. Kit opened his hand, and let the boy's hand fall. "Kiba!" A girl with bluish-black hair screamed, running to her teammates' assistance. Kit cast a genjutsu over the Konoha nin before looking to the crowd. All of his fox Hanyu features were back. You know, tail, ears, fangs, claws. That type of stuff. Not wings. All of the ninja flew out of their seats. Kit hid his fox features with a jutsu before letting the genjutsu drop.
Nobody could believe what they were hearing. They could either take the last question and hope to pass, or go back to the academy. But if they took the last question and failed, they would have to stay genin forever. Kit still had his face hid from everyone. Most of the ninja stood up and left. Now only a few teams were left. Anyone else? Ibiki the instructor asked. Kit could not believe what he was hearing. He was tricking the class. Kit slowly stood up and raised his hand, anger building inside him. Kyuubi hid Kit's tails and ears, but could not hide his claws and fangs from existence. Ibiki looked terrified. Fourth Hokage. He stuttered. Everyone turned to Kit. He looked just like the fourth Hokage. Kit looked up, shocking everyone with his facial changes. His whisker marks are a little thicker and darker. Don't forget that happens when he reveals his Hanyu form. Do you honestly think that I will leave? I have dealt with things that the Hokage would find as torture. I have had to escape from lunatic ninja and crazed villagers. You think I am going to cave to you? You are a complete jackass, you know that. Kit screamed at the top of his lungs. Ibiki stared in awe. Why, you look like the fourth Hokage. You even call me the same thing. Ibiki stuttered. Kit glared before sitting down heavily. The girl, Hinata, that sat next to him looked completely terrified. Kaji was trying to hold down laughter.
Kit crossed his arms and glared at Ibiki. Tell them. Kit screamed after a few moments of silence. What? Ibiki asked. Tell them they all pass, you jackass.
Kit screamed, digging his claws into his arms, trying not to jump over the table and pummel the instructor then and there. Everyone stared in awe at Kit. Why, you all pass? Ibiki stuttered. The room was silent before everyone, but Kit erupted into screaming of excitement. A woman with purple hair came out of nowhere and began to talk to Ibiki. Ibiki pointed to Kit before saying something to the woman. The woman stared at Kit with wide eyes. Then she put on a mean face and crossed her arms. All right, you maggots. Follow me, she screamed. This would be good for an ending, but I am bored, so I will continue. I am not going to explain details, but Kit transported Team 7 and Haku to the tower, and when a group came by, took the scroll they needed. Now they are waiting for Kit's match. Kit had his hands firmly on the railing. A fight had just ended, and the proctor was scrolling the names. The scrolling stopped, and Kit grinned. Kit vs. Inuzuka Kiba. Kit jumped over the railing and landed with a soft thud. Kiba and his dog, Akamaru, was already on the field. Kit took Kaji off his head. Hey Kaji, I want you to stay by the stairs, okay? Kit commanded. Kaji nodded. Kit set the fox on the ground before turning to his opponent.
I am going to kill you for what you did to my hand. Kiba growled. Kit grinned widely. He picked out a comeback that always got the whitecoats pissed off.
Is that a threat, or a promise? Kit asked before sliding into a fighting stance that looked like he was a fox. Kiba roared and charged. Let's go, Akamaru. Fang over fang. Kiba and Akamaru turned into two spinning cyclones of gray. Kit sighed, lifting his hand in a catching motion.
Does he really think he can stop a fang over fang? Shino asked his teammate, Hinata. No way can that outsider stop that boy, Kurenai stated.
Boom. Kit was standing straight, hand holding on of the spinning cyclones. Kit yawned, surprising all. Kiba's teammates and Sensei's jaws were dropped. The second cyclone came straight at Kit. Kit yawned again, before gripping the first cyclone tightly, and using it like a bat, slammed it into the second. Kiba and Akamaru stopped spinning as they collided. As the two stood up, Kit threw down some smoke bombs by his opponents before rushing in.
As the smoke cleared, everyone's jaws dropped. There was one Kiba, and two Akamaru. Kiba looked back and forth between the two dogs. Kiba smiled. Huh? You think that can fool me? Kiba yelled, and punched one of the Akamarus in the face. The dog went flying back, but when it did not transform back into Kit, he punched the other Akamaru in the face. But that dog did not transform either. Something tackled Kiba from behind. It was Kit. The fox Hanyu held a kunai to Kiba's neck. Hey, I thought you were going to kill me. Kit said with an evil smile. Kiba raised a hand.
I quit, I'm done, Kiba stuttered. Kit smiled before stepping away from the dog boy. Kiba ran over to his partner. Akamaru, Akamaru, Kiba shouted, shaking the huge dog's shoulder. Kit sighed and walked over to the dog and Kiba. Your punch surprised him, causing him to bend at a funny angle. His backbone is snapped, Kit explained. A tear fell down Kiba's cheek. He buried his face into his dog's fur.
I'm sorry, Akamaru. Kiba cried. Kit let a soft look overtake his face. He bent over and picked up the huge dog, slinging him over his shoulder with one arm. Everyone gasped. Not even the strongest ninja alive could lift that dog. And yet, this genin could lift the dog with one arm. Kit grasped Kiba's arm and lifted him. Come on, we have to clear the arena. It said. Kiba nodded and followed Kit up the steps. Kit found a large enough place, and set Akamaru down gently. Kit felt Akamaru's back carefully. Not too bad, he said, and pulled his hands away. A white aura surrounded Kit, giving him a white glow. Everyone gathered around to watch. Kit inhaled, before carefully placing his hands on the back of Akamaru's neck. Kind of at the base of his neck. Kiba stopped crying. The aura that surrounded Kit crawled down his arms until it surrounded Akamaru completely. All watched as the white glow disappeared. Seconds passed before Akamaru slowly stood up. Kiba tackled his partner, hugging him tightly. Kit smiled while standing up, stumbling slightly at the amount of chakra it had taken. Akamaru turned to Kit and barked. Thank you, Kit. You are a true friend. Akamaru barked. Kiba nodded. You're welcome, Akamaru. I'm happy you take me as a friend. Kit smiled. Kiba looked surprised. You understood him? Kiba asked. Kit nodded. Kaji tackled Kit from behind. That was awesome, Kit. Teach me how to do that. Come on, please. Kaji chatted excitedly. Kiba and Kit laughed. You might not be able to, Kaji. Now stop shouting, Kit said. Kaji nodded and laid his head on top of Kit's. Kiba smiled. You're like the brother I never had. If you ever need anything, come see me, Kiba said. Kit smiled and nodded. Looks like you are on your way to a normal life, Kit, Kyubi stated. My life will never be normal, Kyubi, and you know that, Kit said. And it's fine with me, he added. Haku came running over to the Hanyu. Kit, that was awesome, Haku said excitedly. Kit smiled. You should not have forfeited yours, Kit said with a smile. Haku smiled back. 4 weeks later, Kit groaned as he walked from the forest. It's been a month already, Kit whined. Kiba laughed. You should have come out of the forest at least once, you know, Kiba said. Kit smiled. I told you I was going to work on my skills. I want to win, Kit said. Kiba had never noticed that Kit had claws and fangs. He had asked about the dark and thick whisker marks on his face though. Ya. Come on. You are going to be late. Don't forget, you are first. Kiba reminded him. Kit slapped his forehead. Damn it. I forgot. He shouted, forming the rat hand seal. Seconds later, Kiba, Kit, Akamaru, and Kaji were in the arena for the final test. Kiba said goodbye before running into the watching stands with Akamaru and Kaji. Kit trusted Kiba enough to look after Kaji. First match, Kit vs Hyuga Neji. The announcer shouted. The stands cheered. Kit slipped into a fighting stance. It is destiny for you to lose, Neji said. Kit growled while rolling his eyes, and the battle began. Dash colon 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 dash colon. Starred in shock at the boy named Kit. He looked exactly like the Yondaime. He even fought the same way. Kakashi, who was standing behind her, was thinking the same thing. He can't be the fourth's long-lost son, could he? Kakashi asked. Tsunade shrugged, watching the blonde. He can't be. The fourth son had the Kyuubi sealed in him, long ago, Tsunade concluded. Dash colon 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 dash colon. Kit slid to a stop, breathing heavily. He had all of his chakra sealed away by Neji. All of his human chakra, anyway. He still had his Hanyu chakra. But if he used that, his tail and ears might show. But if he borrowed some of Kyuubi's? Go ahead. But be careful. Kyuubi cautioned. Kit nodded, and formed the tiger hand seal. It is useless. It is destiny for you to lose, Neji said, pointing out that he sealed away Kit's chakra. Kit looked up, his eyes turning a light shade of red. Don't talk to me about destiny, Kit growled. Neji's eyes widened as his Byakugan picked up on his rising chakra. I have cheated destiny more than once. I was destined to stay locked away, like a lab rat. I was destined to be used as one. I was destined to live without the love of a father or mother. I was destined to be treated as a demon. Kit let his voice rise. Red chakra began to filter through Kit's system. I was destined to be treated as an animal. But I have cheated them all. Them all. I am not treated as a demon. I have the love of a father figure. I am free. I am treated as a human. Kit screamed at the top of his lungs. I am not treated as a lab rat. I have escaped that fate. So don't come to me talking about this destiny shit, Kit screamed. Neji's eyes widened. The chakra around Kit's stomach took on the form of a fox head that reminded Neji of the nine-tailed fox. The red chakra blasted into existence around Kit. All of the ninja that were at the Kyuubi's attack let their eyes widen. This chakra felt the same. Kit let his arms fall to his sides as the red chakra that looked like flames surrounded him. Neji took out kunai and threw them. Kit disappeared and reappeared behind Neji. Kit channeled chakra into his hand, and punched Neji in the back. Neji flew forward, back snapping, before crashing into a wall. Neji admitted his defeat as he hit the ground. Kit walked over to Neji as Kyuubi's power disappeared. I was destined to die at 5 years of age, but I lived. Others don't decide your destiny, you do. Don't let others control your life. For by the time you realize you could escape, it may be too late. Kit said, healing Neji's back. The crowd remained silent as the events played out. Neji stood up and tested his back. Kit smiled, but that smile disappeared as a feather landed on his shoulder. More feathers were falling, making everyone fall asleep. Kit, being a Hanyu, was not affected. But Neji was. Kit pushed Neji into the hall until the feathers cleared. Only Sakura, Sasuke, Shikamaru, Kit, Kiba, Kakashi, and Neji were awake with a few other ninja. Come on. We need to find out what happened, Kit said, jumping up to Kakashi. Dash colon 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 dash colon. Kit grumbled as he jumped through the trees. It turned out that the Sand siblings consisting of Gaara, Tamari, and Kankuru had helped Sound Ninja infiltrate Konoha. Now they were running away. Kakashi had sent Sasuke, Sakura, Kit, and Shikamaru out to go after them. Shikamaru had suggested they split up, and call the others if they find anything. Kit sprang to the ground and ran through the trees. He turned a corner when,
Bang! Kit crashed into something or someone.
The shock caused him to let his ears and tail appear. Kit fell to the ground. When he opened his eyes, he saw he had run into a girl a little younger than him, with 5 kids behind her. The 6 people, 3 girls, 3 boys, and 1 small black dog, were staring at him with shock and a fighting gleam in their eyes. "Is it an eraser?" a small boy with blonde hair asked. A boy with dark black hair that looked around the oldest girl's age dropped into a fighting stance. "Who the hell are you guys?" Kit screamed, trying to cover his long fox ears with his hands while trying to hide his tail. "That's our line." The black hair growled. Kit stood up, causing the 7 to take a step back. "No, it's my line. Who the hell are you guys? I have no time to be talking to travelers. I have to find the Sand siblings," Kit yelled, tail lashing. He let his hands drop to his sides. Throwing up a chakra barrier around his mind, he screamed at Kyuubi. "I don't know who they are either, Kit, but your friends have found Gaara," Kyuubi said. Kit's eyes widened as the barrier around his mind dropped in disbelief. "What?" Kit screamed, pounding on his head. "Get back here, you worthless fox." "Where are they?" Kit yelled, still pounding. The 6 kids stared at him. Kit growled, laying his ears flat against his head. All of a sudden, a huge blast rocked the land. Trees were sent flying up in a huge circle. Kit faced the blast. "Damn it, why did they not send for me? Fucking bastards," Kit yelled at the top of his lungs. The 7 were still watching him. Kit turned to them, his eyes flashing red as anger built up in his chest. "Fine, you fucking fox. I'll just have to go and save them." "Again," Kit grumbled, shrugging off his cloak. Kit grinned at the 7 confused kids.
"And dog, don't tell anyone what has happened here today. If you do, I'll kill you," Kit said, running at them. They raised their arms to defend, but Kit jumped right over them, using his ninja skills and his mutant abilities to jump 100 feet in the air. Snap! Kit snapped open his wings. Air gathered under them, pulling him up. Kit looked down to stare at the 6 kids. Using one of Kyuubi's powers, Kit opened his mouth, and out shot a black flame. Not dragon. Kyuubi controls fire, remember.
Dash colon 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 dash colon. Kit landed a few feet away from the battle scene to cover his wings, ears, and tail. Sakura was unconscious, tied to a tree by a clump of sand that looked like a huge hand. Sasuke was almost unconscious, tired from fighting. Haku was nowhere to be seen, along with Shikamaru. Kit sighed, and looked across the battlefield. Gaara had his top half covered in sand, and looked like a raccoon. One tail made of sand was wagging behind him. "Great. Now I have to deal with a fucking sand demon," Kit growled. "It's the Jinchuriki for Shukaku, the one-tailed raccoon dog demon. We used to be friends," Kyuubi explained.
"Really?" Kit asked, sneaking toward Sasuke who was catching his breath behind a tree. "Yeah, we always made everything a competition," Kyuubi stated. Kit grinned. "Great. Back to the old times for you, Kyuubi," Kit said, springing from his hiding place, landing heavily next to Sasuke. "What the hell?" Sasuke screamed. Kit stood up, a determined look on his face. "What happened here?" Kit asked. Sasuke inhaled deeply. "The fight started calmly, then Gaara went crazy. If we don't hurry, Sakura will die," Sasuke said frantically. Kit stood staring at him, his eyes wide. Sasuke took a step back as Kit's eyes turned red, his pupils going into slits. I have one jutsu that might work. But you can't tell anyone that you saw this," Kit whispered, his voice mixed with Kyuubi's. Before Sasuke could answer, Kit jumped to a branch that put him in the direct path of Gaara.
Gaara was lashing back and forth as sand pilled around him.
The sand began to take shape of a huge raccoon dog. Shukaku. Shukaku was coming out, wanting to fight. In seconds, Gaara disappeared, only to reappear 100 miles away, as Shukaku. This was not Gaara anymore. Shukaku had taken control. Kit put on a determined face, and jumped to the top of a tree far from Sasuke and Sakura. Little did he know, Kakashi was now by Sasuke watching, and 7 pairs of eyes were watching from a mile away.
Dash colon 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 dash colon. Kakashi landed next to Sasuke. Sasuke was staring in the direction a huge one-tailed raccoon dog stood. "Where is Kit?" Kakashi asked. Sasuke pointed to a faraway object of black that stood on a tree top. Kakashi narrowed his eyes. He has his Sharingan uncovered. As he stared at Kit, Kit was running through a series of hand seals for an unknown jutsu. Kit jumped 50 feet in the air, and slammed his hand onto thin air. Red chakra shot out from his palm, smashing into the forest floor. "Demon Fox Art, Fox Summon Jutsu, come forth, Kyuubi," Kit screamed. Dash colon 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 dash colon. Again, great place to end, huh? But I am still bored, and I will be nice, yay. "Max, what is that boy doing?" Angle asked Max, changing her position on the tree. With their raptor vision, the flock was watching the boy with black wings. He was running through a series of hand signs, doing who knew what. "I don't know, Angle," Max answered, interested herself. Although all of the flock, including Total, were scared shitless by the huge sand raccoon thing, they tried hard to hide it. It was probably another experiment from the Whitecoats. Max turned her attention back to the boy with spiky blonde hair. The blonde jumped 50 feet in the air, before doing a flip, and slamming his palm onto thin air. Red, something, shot from his hand and crashed into the forest floor with a loud blast. "Demon Fox Art, Fox Summon Jutsu, come forth, Kyuubi," he screamed. "Demon Fox Art, Fox Summon Jutsu, come forth, Kyuubi." Kit screamed at the top of his lungs. Instantly he felt all of his chakra draining. But it was worth it. The red chakra shooting from his palm began to swirl in a tornado, a fox head appearing over him. The fox roared loudly, before bursting apart. The red chakra fizzled away, and Kit began to fall. But instead of hitting the ground, he fell onto the head of something soft. Kit grinned as red chakra began to take form around him, refilling his chakra reserves. Kit felt the red chakra disappear, and stood up. "Hey, you could warn me if you were going to do that. It scared the shit out of me. Having my fucking body leave your body. Damn," Kyuubi screamed for all to hear. Yes, Kit had summoned Kyuubi from his own body. Kit rolled his eyes. "Shut the crap up. Attack Shukaku and beat some sense into him," Kit commanded. Kyuubi sat still, letting his 9 tails lash behind him. "Fine. But you owe me," Kyuubi growled. Kit smiled, and through impenetrable barrier, cannot see through it either. Around Sasuke, Sakura, and some other person that Kit did not notice until now. "There, now nobody can see the fight. That work for you?" Kit asked, stomping on Kyuubi's head.
Kyuubi nodded. Good, Kit growled, pulling off his cloak. Kit tied the cloak around his waist, and braced himself, getting ready to take off at a moment's notice. Kit's ears and tail appeared. Kyuubi dug his claws into the ground. Let's go, Kit commanded, and Kyuubi dove forward, right front leg outstretched. Kit and Kyuubi roared in unison, as Kyuubi dug his claws into Shukaku.
Why did you pair up with sound? Shukaku, you're better than that.
Wake up, Kyuubi screamed. Shukaku shrieked in pain, swatting Kit off of Kyuubi's head. Kit screamed as he was sent flying down into the trees. Kit tried to open his wings to slow or stop his descent, but that happened was getting his wings caught in the branches, holding him in place. Kit twisted and turned, trying to get out from the trees. But his wings were caught with too many branches. Kit could not reach 8 feet in each direction.
Great, Kit thought, clawing at the branches he could reach. Kit tried to flap his wings, but that just got him even more caught. Kit reared his head to the sky. Damn it, Kit screamed. Hearing Kyuubi having to battle without him was like torture to Kit. Kit let his head drop. My wings hurt now. Great, just great, Kit screamed in his mind. The sound of branches snapping, and something touching his wings made Kit open his wings and look up. It was the 6 kids and dog from before, snapping the thick branches from his wings. What are you guys doing here? Kit snarled, not liking strangers knowing about his wings. It was kind of his fault though. Helping. A little blonde boy said, snapping a foot-thick branch. Kit's eyes widened. Helping? How'd I know you guys aren't erasers? Kit asked. Then he noticed they could not know what an eraser was. You're the one with the tail. Not us. The boy with black hair said, snapping a branch that was holding Kit's right wing at an uncomfortable angle. Kit sighed and went back to staring at the ground. How did you get the wings? A little girl with blonde hair asked. Kit looked at her out of the corner of his eyes.
That is none of your business. Kit growled, his fox ears laying flat against his head. The oldest girl stared at Kit.
Yes, it is, she said, helping the little dog break a branch. Before anyone could say anything, Kyuubi roared from above. Get up here, Kit. Don't make me smash you, Kyuubi screamed. Kit kicked thin air. Damn it, Kyuubi. I'm a little busy, Kit screamed up to the fox.
That's it, I'm going to smash you. You know you have to be up here, Kyuubi shouted.
You smash me, you would just be smashing yourself. I said I was busy, Kit screamed back. What the hell could you be doing at a time like this? Kyuubi demanded. Talking to you. Kit screamed with sarcasm dripping from his tongue. Another boy with blonde hair that was feeling around Kit's right wing for a branch laughed. Kit looked at him crossly. What? Do you think this looks funny to you? Kit asked. The boy shook his head. No, I'm blind, he said. Kit looked at the ground. Sorry, Kit whispered. The only sound was the loud battle and the snapping branches. Get up here, Kit. Or did the birdie get caught in a net again? Kyuubi shouted. Kit snapped. Would you shut the hell up? Damn. You're like a mom I never had. Damn it. You got me thinking of them again. I'm going to make your cage extra small. Kit shouted. Kyuubi stopped talking and continued fighting. The 6 remained silent, as Kit threw out strategies of fighting. Are you going to answer my question? How did you get the wings? The little blonde girl asked. Kit growled from deep in his chest. Why should I? You humans could never understand my kind, or what curses I have. Kit growled. The group stared at Kit, sympathy in their eyes.
Yeah, we do. We all have gone through the same things. We have all grown up in the school. At least, until I was around 10. The oldest girl said, I'm just making up the escape date for them. I don't want to bother with remembering. Kit gave a short laugh. Lucky you. You escaped 5 years before me. Wait, you were at the school too? Kit asked. The 6, including the dog, nodded. Kit looked forward. You all are closer to human than I am though. You humans would still never understand. Kit growled.
Ki-I-T-T-T-T-T-T. Shukaku wants you to come and play I. Kyuubi taunted.
Kit's not home at the moment. Please leave a message after the beep. Kit screamed, not knowing how one could leave a message after a beep. A girl with light brown skin laughed. Who are you guys? Kit asked.
Max. Fang, Iggy, Nudge, Gasman, or Gazzy. Angel. The 6 introduced themselves. Kit looked at each one in turn.
The name's Kit, Kit said. The little black dog jumped onto a branch in front of Kit.
I'm Total. The dog said. Everyone thought Kit would scream, but he just sat there.
Okay, a talking dog. Not the 5 tails, so Kit trailed off. The group was about to ask where they were, but Kyuubi interrupted again.
Kit. Get up here now. I can't do Fox Plana if you are not up here, damn it. Kyuubi shouted. Kit looked up. Then give me some of your power. I'm out, Kit shouted. Kyuubi's stomp of stubbornness shook the land.
Fine, Kyuubi screamed. A red pillar shot up into the air, and turned, coming straight for Kit. Kit's eyes flashed back to red and pupils with slits.
Oh. You guys might want to stand back, Kit warned. Max stuttered, trying to find words. We are not going to leave a fellow mutant behind, Iggy shouted. Kit looked shocked. You actually care for someone like me? Kit shook his head at that thought. I will make it clear for you because you are blind. There is a surge of power that only I can control. Not even the one who owns it can control it. Get back now, Kit shouted. His regular fangs growing half an inch longer as the power got closer. Kit's wings were beginning to turn red again. Damn it. Get back. Or do you want to die? Kit yelled. He could already feel the immense power taking a life of its own, controlling his body. His wings grew 1 foot in each direction, his claws growing half an inch longer and sharper. Max grabbed Angel, gave a weird signal, and jumped away with the others following shortly behind.
Kit inhaled, trying to calm down as the red chakra zeroed in. The searing hot pain in his stomach increased as the chakra came closer. Kit felt his adrenaline rush, then, boom. The pillar of red slammed into Kit, engulfing him. Kit screamed in pain as the chakra forcefully entered his system. For the power to be coming from the inside, it easily finds a way into his chakra network. But from the outside, he has to absorb the power through his body. It hurt like hell.
Kit's screams were blocked by the roaring of the power that was crashing down on him. When the power finally died down, Kit felt more power than he ever had. But something was wrong with his vision. Every object had more detail.
Kit could see an ant on the forest floor 65 feet down. He usually had raptor vision, but this vision was better. Kit could see the amount of chakra in every living creature. Kit looked at his left wing. They were not the right color. They were red, kind of a darker color of Kyuubi's fur. Kit's claws and fangs were longer, and a lot sharper. Kit's smelling had increased to a higher level. Red chakra surrounded Kit like a floating flame. Kit flexed his wings a tiny bit, but the trees surrounding him blew apart. Kit landed on a branch 20 feet in front of him. Killer intent overflowed. Kit growled, looking back and forth, looking for a sign of Kyuubi, while staying on all fours. Smoke rose from around his hands and feet as the high power burned away at the bark on the tree limb. Kit looked up, gritting his teeth. Pushing a fraction of his chakra to his arms and legs, Kit kicked off the branch, and flew up to the sky. As soon as he cleared the trees, Kit could see Kyuubi right next to him. A bloody Shukaku was leaned over, gasping for breath. Kit landed on Kyuubi's head, finding it a little hard to stand on 2 legs. Kyuubi edged his head. About time you got here, and I gave you too much power. Kyuubi whispered the last part to himself. Kit growled, shifting his weight from foot to foot. Let's just attack already. Kit snarled, flexing his large red wings. The faster we do this, the sooner you get to leave. And that means our secret will stay intact. Kit said, the rest of the red chakra disappearing into his system. We will be doing this alone. Like always. Kit finished. Kyuubi grunted in acknowledgement. Our kind never fight alone, said a feminine voice, followed by a loud thud. Kit turned his head slightly. There behind him, standing on Kyuubi's head, was Max. But behind her was 2 beautiful, brown and white, hawk-like wings. I don't remember the exact colors of all of their wings, so, yeah. Kit's red eyes widened. Angel landed next, with small white wings. Gazzy landed next to Angel, with light gray wings. Iggy and Fang landed at the same time, Fang with large black wings and Iggy with white. I am going with the manga wing colors.
Nudge landed clumsily with light brown wings. Total also landed with small black wings. Kit just stared. There is someone like me. Kit's thoughts trailed off. Kyuubi and Kit are still linked with their thoughts. Huh? Kyuubi thought to Kit, twisting his head, trying to see what was so interesting. Why you guys have wings too? Kit stuttered. Max nodded.
The flock and I are 2% avian and 98% human. Max announced. The flock nodded. Total is included. He has wings. Kit grinned, trying to ignore the cussing raccoon demon. I win with the DNA. I'm 25% avian and 25% human. Kit said, thinking if he should give away any information. Fang took a step forward, folding in his wings. Kit struggled to stand like a human, folding in his red wings, and pulling his cloak over them.
What about the other 50% of your DNA? Fang asked. Kit straightened, although Kyuubi's power was trying to push him back onto all fours. Fox, demon. Kit answered, whispering the last to himself. He could not let his DNA Hanyu problems keep him from the fight. The flock stared at him.
Fox, Total asked. Kit nodded. Suddenly he was tackled to the ground in a hug. Thetisoa's OME, you're part fox. Seriously. The little blonde boy, Gazzy screamed. Kit hit the ground with a thud, trying with all of his Hanyu power to keep Kyuubi's demon power back. After the power leaves Kyuubi's body, it takes on a life of its own. Max ran forward and pried Gazzy from Kit's chest, and right in time too. Kit was about to crack under the pressure of the demonic force. Kit stood up, breathing heavily, dusting off his cloak. Shukaku was recovering from the latest attack.
Can you guys do anything? Like, water techniques or anything? Or fire? Kit asked, flexing his wings from under his cloak. Max raised an eyebrow.
No, she said, confused. She pointed a finger at Kit. And where did you get those whisker scars? They look like whiskers. And I thought your eyes were blue, not red. Max overloaded Kit with questions. Kit sighed, shrugging his cloak back off.
If you guys cannot fight, then stay here, Kit said. What? We have fought erasers before, Iggy shouted. You're blind. We are facing a demon. Do you really think it will be easy? Kit screamed.
Kit, get ready, Kyuubi warned. Max shook her head.
We can help. That is no demon. There are no such things. It is just a mutant. We are riding on a machine. Fighting a mutant. We can help. Max protested. Kit swung his arm in the air. You may think you can help, but you can't. Some things you cannot always solve a problem by flying in circles.
You obviously don't live in Konoha. This place is not just some walk in the park. Kit screamed. Max and the flock remained silent. Kit shook his head. It's hopeless with you humans. You never notice a demon when it is staring you right in the face. Kit growled. Kit turned and ran, diving over the edge of Kyuubi's head. His cloak floated into Max's arms. Angel tugged on Max's shirt. Max looked down to her, the rest of the flock gathering closer.
Even though he knows we have wings, he still calls us human, and says that we never notice a demon when it is staring at us right in the face. What did he mean? Angel asked. Max looked at the last place he saw the boy named Kit. Fang was the first to speak. Demons are not real, and yet he is saying that they are. He was looking us in the eyes, and we were all looking into his. He said, you never notice a demon when it is staring you right in the face. You know what that means, right? He is a demon, Fang concluded.
Kit drove his wings down hard, circling Shukaku's head, playing the game of chicken. Kit glanced back at Kyuubi's head, seeing the group of bird kids staring at him. Kit sighed, and dive-bombed Gaara once again, only getting a handful of sand.
Shit. Kit muttered, pulling back up. Shukaku laughed like a maniac. You think you can harm me? You are an idiot. You are going to die. Not the other way around. Shukaku cried. Kit grinned. Sure. I'll die. Kit shouted back. Kit thought for a moment. I won't kill you either. I don't think. Kit muttered. Shukaku laughed again. Kit sighed, dive-bombing again. This time, he aimed for Gaara. Sand shot up from in front of Gaara, making Kit land a few hundred feet off. Kit folded his wings in so they would stick to his back. Kit slipped into a low fighting stance before running forward. Gaara snapped awake, and glared at Kit. Gaara shot his hand up, and the sand willingly followed. The sand wrapped around Kit's right arm and waist, suspending in mid-air. Gaara cracked an evil smile. Kit edged closer to Gaara with anger in his eyes. Kit's tail twitched in anger. He laid his ears flat against his head.
Kit got closer. God damn it, Kit screamed, and slammed his forehead against Gaara's with as much strength as he could muster. The two stayed motionless. Blood soon trickled down each other's forehead. Kit opened his eyes, and grinned. The scent of blood flooded into Kit's nose, making the fox Hanyu sick to his stomach. The sand dropped away from Kit's body, letting him fall back down to the large body of Shukaku. Kit opened his wings.
I believe I win, Kit smiled, holding a thumbs up. Gaara collapsed, along with the sand body. Kit's wings kept him suspended in the air, but Gaara plummeted for the earth below. Kit sighed, before diving straight for the falling red head. Kit held him bridal style, and quickly flew off in the direction of Kyuubi. Kit landed right next to Kyuubi's left ear, and let Gaara down. The red head fell to Kyuubi's head, and glared up to Kit. You bastard! Gaara grunted. Kit wagged a pointer finger at the boy.
Now, I could have let you fall to your death. But I am a nice and decided to save you, Kit said, folding his wings so they shielded his right and left side. Gaara growled with hate. The blonde girl, Tamari, and the boy dressed in black, Kankuro, appeared next their redhead brother. The two kept their eyes off of Kit, and stared at their brother.
What did you do? Tamari hissed. Kit scratched his left cheek, keeping his eyes closed.
I did not really do anything. Well, I kept him from killing too many people, but other than that, nothing else really. Kit listed off. The two older Sand siblings looked at Kit with hate in their eyes, but their gaze turned to fear when they saw what Kit's true features were. Kit smiled. Haro. My name is Teriyaki Nissan Honda something or other. Kit listed, trying to sound like he was from another place. Can you pick out all the words? Tamari took a step back.
Who? What? The two older siblings stuttered. Kit smiled.
You know my name, and you get what you get. Whatever. Take your brother and leave. I might let you live. Kit growled. Tamari, being the smart and quick thinker, grabbed Gaara and ran. Kankuro glared at Kit, but fear was still in his eyes.
This is not over, Foxboy. Kankuro roared before jumping after his sister. Kit held a fist in the air. No duh. Dip shhhhhittt. Kit screamed after him, waving the fist. Kyuubi glanced up to the fox Hanyu. Hey, I'm going back. I'm bored. Kyuubi said through the mental link. Kit sighed, and nodded, re-spreading his wings. Kit flipped to the tip of Kyuubi's snout.
See y'all later, Foxy. Kit said grinning. Kyuubi grinned back before disappeared in a poof of smoke. Kit fell headfirst with his arms crossed over his chest. Wind roared in his human and fox ears. The flock circled high above him, staring at the fox Hanyu in fright. Kit yawned, looking for a small lake. Spotting one glinting in the distance, Kit shifted his wings, and blasted for the lake. The flock followed close behind. Kit snapped his wings to his back and, once again, fell head first right into the lake. Kit inhaled as water drenched his clothes.
Did you see where my cloak went? Kit asked with a confused look.
That girl Max has it. I'm pretty sure, Kyuubi mumbled. A splash echoed through the water. Kit looked up. It was the little girl, Angel. She was flapping her wings wildly, propelling down toward Kit. The fox Hanyu smashed his wings against his back, and twirled so he was facing the little girl.
Hey little girl, you're going to drown. Kit warned. Angel looked surprised. A thought entered Kit's mind. Can he breathe underwater? Angel's voice sounded. Kit gave a small laugh. Yeah, I can breathe underwater. Come on. You're going to die down here. Kit warned, shoving chakra into the soles of his feet. Kit gripped Angel tightly, and shot toward the surface. The two were soon on top of the water. Can you fly with wet wings? Kit asked. Angel, surprised they were on top of water, nodded, and pushed off from Kit, flapping her drenched wings. Max and the rest of the flock hovered by Kit. How are you doing that? Fang asked. Kit grinned.
Tell you later. I need to go and get Sakura out of that. Oh, shit. I left Sakura in that death trap. And the barrier. It runs out of air. She t. Kit screamed, running across the water from the middle of the lake. When Kit's foot hit the shore, he threw himself into the air. Shit, I hope they're not dead. Kit screamed in fright.
Kakashi fell over, gasping for breath. Kit rubbed the back of his head sheepishly. Heh. Sorry. Kit apologized. Kit had hidden his wings under his wet cloak while his ears and tail had disappeared like usual. Max and the flock had hidden their wings gas well, and were now standing a few feet away behind the blonde. Sasuke jumped up. You idiot. How could you forget that you sealed us inside an impenetrable barrier that runs out of freaking air? Sasuke screamed, forming a fist with his right hand. Kit followed his actions.
I said I was sorry. And it is easy to forget when I am fighting Shukaku. Damn it, you got me screaming again. Kit yelled at the top of his lungs. Sasuke threw his arms up above his head.
It does not take much to put you over the edge, Sasuke pointed out. Kit threw his arms over his head.
At least I don't play a game that had a fucking little kid you on it. Kit teased with a large grin. Sasuke crouched down into the fetal position, waterfall tears falling down his cheeks.
But it's a fun game. Sasuke whined loudly. Kit smiled at his teammates' defeat. It is still as gay as you Sasuke, Kit finished with a shout. Sasuke's waterfall tears grew larger. Kakashi moved closer to Kit. Where is Sakura? Kakashi asked. Kit's smile faded. Oh, yeah. Oh shit. Kit screamed, jumping to the top of the trees. Max and the flock climbed the tree after him. Kit looked over at Max. Any reason why you are following me? Kit asked. Max breathed heavily. You are a mutant too, she pointed out. Kit smiled. Touché. Kit laughed, returning to looking for Sakura. In the distance, Kit spotted a small glow of blue. This was one of the Hanyu powers Kit possessed. He was able to find someone by their chakra signature. Kit ran across the treetops in that direction. Kit landed next to Sakura, Max and the flock soon appearing. Kit, allowing his claws to appear, dug into the cement like sand with all his fury. Just feeling the sand, Kit could tell the sand was constricting the life out of her.
Shit. Kit's voice raised higher as his Hanyu chakra flared and started to change into his full demon chakra. Kit began to glow white. He could see Sakura's chakra disappearing. She was dying from suffocation. Kit closed his eyes as his claws continued to dig at the sand. Kit's sensitive ears picked up the sound of more hands digging at the sand. Kit looked around him. It was the flock. They were furiously digging at the sand. Why are you helping me again? Kit asked. Max removed a large chunk of concrete sand from the pink-haired girl.
We never turn down a fellow mutant, Angel said with a smile. Kit smiled tiredly, his full demon chakra turning back to Hanyu before disappearing.
Thanks, Kit muttered, going back to digging. 5 minutes passed, and the group was getting nowhere. We are getting nowhere, Kit hissed.
Hey Kit. Use that technique I taught you in the school. Come on, time to try it, Kyuubi encouraged. Kit rolled his eyes. Ugh. Fine. Kit said finally. He turned to the flock. Ugh. Stand back. I'm going to try something, Kit said. Everyone but Fang backed away many yards. Kit rolled his eyes as he shrugged off his cloak. Kit unfolded his wings. Remember last time? Big, boom.
Kit said, trying to hide his laughter. Fang stepped back to join the flock. Kit smirked while folding his wings around Sakura. Kyuubi, put up the barrier. Kit sighed. A huge red box surrounded Kit and Sakura. Man, I hate using this power. Kit groaned loudly. Kit closed his eyes. He began to glow white once again. The barrier shook and creaked at the strain of holding back the power. Seconds passed. The barrier could no longer be seen into. Tick-tock, Kit thought blankly.
Boom. Kyuubi shouted excitedly. Boom. Did not even begin to describe the power if the blast. The barrier shook and rattled loudly as it struggled to keep back the enormous blast.
When the barrier cleared, it disappeared, revealing Kit holding Sakura in his arms, his wings spread behind him and a tired smile plastered on his face. "I win," Kit said quietly before he fell forward off the branch. The flock jumped forward to see what happened. Kit snapped his wings into position, and immediately flew straight up, back onto a thicker branch. Kit placed Sakura on her back and folded his wings in, covering them with his cloak. And not a moment too soon. Sasuke and Kakashi appeared. Kit grinned widely.
Got her, he said before falling back onto his back, breathing heavily. Kakashi shook his head. Always have to blow something up, don't you? Kakashi asked. Kit held a thumbs up while smiling. He began to laugh, but the cheer disappeared immediately. You know something I just noticed? I have not built my house yet, Kit said seriously, and then burst out laughing.
Kit's jaw dropped. He was standing in his lot, his house completely built. The Hokage, Tsunade, stood in front of the door, twirling a pair of keys on her right index finger. The flock's jaws were dropped as well. Kit ran forward. Who, what, when, where, why, how? Kit screamed. Tsunade grinned. One of the Anbu who went to find out where all of you went saw you fighting to save the lives of people you just met, and how you fought to save this village. We are all in your debt. So I and a few others came and built your house. Tsunade said happily. Kit smiled. Only now did Tsunade notice the flock behind the blonde. Ah, these must be who the Anbu said were with you. Tsunade said. Kit grinned widely.
Yeah, this is Max, Iggy, Gazzy, Angel, and F. Hey, where did Fang go? Kit asked. Huh? Oh, right here, came Fang's voice, but no Fang. Suddenly, Fang appeared out of nowhere. Kit pointed with a large smile. That's awesome, Kit said like a little kid. The little black dog scratched Kit's leg and whined. Oh yeah. And this is total, Kit said. Tsunade regained her composure and threw the keys to Kit. Kit and the flock ran past her to into house. Kit stopped next to Tsunade.
Thanks Mom, Kit shouted, then instantly stopped. Oops, sorry, Kit said sadly before running into the house after his friends. Tsunade looked over to Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura.
Mom? She asked out loud. Kit inhaled heavily as he knocked on the Hokage's office door. Come in, Tsunade screamed. Kit opened the wooden door and walked in, closing the door behind him. Oh, hello Kit, Tsunade said, looking up from her paperwork.
Hi, you know how I told you yesterday that my parents are out on a trip? Kit asked. He did. I may have skipped that part.
Yeah, Tsunade answered. Kit shifted from foot to foot. That is not a true statement. And you know how I said to Neji I was destined to be a lab rat? Kit asked, looking at Tsunade with sad eyes. The Hokage's eyes widened, but she nodded. Kit inhaled deeply. That part was true. I want to show you something,
Kit said, slipping his right arm from his cloak. Tsunade watched, clearly interested. Kit held his discarded cloak in his arms. Don't tell anyone, Kit said, his voce cracking. Kit took a deep breath and closed his eyes tightly, not wanting to watch Tsunade's face. FWIP. Kit unfurled his wings in a quick motion. Kit's wings could not open all the way, for there was not enough room for huge wings. Nothing happened. Kit cracked his eyes open. Tsunade's eyes were wide, her jaw dropped. Tsunade, Kit asked, leaning forward. Tsunade shook her head, closing her mouth. The blonde woman jumped from her seat and ran over to Kit. She stood in front of Kit. She formed a hand seal.
Kai, she hissed. Nothing happened. Good thing I noticed she was going to try that. Kyuubi sighed in relief.
Why? Kit asked, looking confused. Your ears and tail would appear. Kyuubi deadpanned. Tsunade tensed.
Kai. Nothing happened. Kai. Kai. Damn it, she screamed. Bachan, that is not going to work. Kit laughed nervously. Kyuubi, why did I let you talk me into this? Kit asked in his head. Hey, I did not such thing, you said. I owe her, she built my house. She needs to know. Kyuubi yelled. Kit thought for a moment.
Oh, yeah, Kit trailed off. Tsunade grabbed Kit's shoulders.
Stop joking around, she screamed to his face. Kit flinched. And what if I'm not? Kit asked, Trying to put on a smile, Tsunade shook Kit. What happened? When did you get these? She screamed, grabbing Kit's right wing. Kit flinched. Ooh. She touched his wing, Kyuubi said childishly. Kit laughed nervously again.
For what happened, evil scientists? And since I was born, Kit replied, folding his wings in so they shielded his right and left sides. Tsunade took a step back. Evil scientists, since you were born? Tsunade questioned. Kit nodded. A knock came from the door.
Hokage-sama? May I come in? Came a voice. It was Kakashi. Sure thing, Kakashi-sensei. Kit shouted back. The door began to open. Kit, is that you? Kakashi asked, poking his head into the room. Kakashi's eyes widened.
So, I guess you decided to tell her? Kakashi asked. Kit turned to his sensei and grinned, showing off his fangs. His fangs and claws are there, but not his tail and ears.
Yup. Kit said happily. Tsunade's jaw dropped again. You knew? For how long? Tsunade asked. Kit closed his eyes and smiled at the blonde woman.
Since that mission to Wave Country, I made him promise not to tell you. Kit said, his smile widening into a grin. Suddenly, Kit opened his eyes, his smile vanishing. He sniffed the air, earning a confused look from Tsunade. Kit's eyes widened. You two, get down, Kit screamed, using his chakra to shove the two to the floor. The sound of glass shattering surprised the two elder ninja. A loud pop screeched through the air. Kit brought up his arms, blocking his face. A net flew around the blonde Hanyu, shooting him to the floor. Heavy weights held the net on top of Kit, pinning him and his wings to the ground. The weights ate his strength from his body. Two men wearing no shirts and with wolf-like features came running into the room from the door. Others jumped in through the smashed window. A woman and man walked into the room after the wolfmen, both dressed in white lab coats. Two wolfmen shot Tsunade and Kakashi with fast-acting tranquilizing darts. Kit, I can't keep the jutsu around your ears and tail up any longer. Kyuubi warned. Kit gritted his teeth.
Then let it fall. Kit said. His red ears and tail appeared. The two scientists walked over to Kit.
You were a very bad experiment running off the cliff like that. The woman scolded. Kit looked up at her through the net. Ooh, I'm so sad I made some S&M bastards dressed in fucking lab coats that torture kids angry at me. I'm so touched, Kit snarled. The man knelt down by Kit's side. You are coming back with us. We have a new experiment we want to try on you. The man growled in a deep voice. You are coming back with us. Kit mocked, copying the man's voice perfectly. And what if I say no? Kit asked, knowing that Kakashi and Tsunade were watching helplessly. The man frowned. You don't have a choice, he yelled. Kit stuck his tongue out at the man. Like I care. I don't wanna, and that is final, Kit yelled back. The fox Hanyu got an idea. Tell me who my parents are, and maybe I will come with. Kit said, grinning evilly. The woman kicked Kit's right side. That is classified, she snarled. Kit rolled his eyes. Then I guess you have a problem, huh? 'Cause I ain't coming with ya. Kit yelled loudly. A wolf man took a step closer. Yeah, you are. You are going to be fun to hunt again. You and your friends. The man growled. Kit's eyes widened. What did you do to them? Kit yelled. The air around him decreased as it visibly rushed toward his wings. A thin layer of wind surrounded each wing. The man and woman took a step back. What the? The man trailed off. Kit unfurled his wings straight up, the wind slicing through the metal net. Kit jumped up, folding in his wings. Kit pounced, and formed a hand seal. White chakra surrounded the blonde. Kage Bushin no Jutsu. Kit screamed. 15 copies of the blonde Hanyu appeared in the room. Kakashi and Tsunade widened their eyes. The only ninja that could ever do that technique was the fourth Hokage. The 15 clones tackled the wolfmen. Handle the erasers for me. I got the scientists, Kit screamed before tackling the woman to the ground. Kit maneuvered his tail to wrap around the man's waist. Kit stood up, holding the woman off her feet by the collar of her shirt. Where are they? Kit screamed in her face, his fangs growing noticeably longer. The pink-haired girl did not look like an experiment. They tied her up and were going to drop her off a cliff. Some others found 6 human experiments and 2 animal experiments. They are bringing them back to the facility. The woman stuttered. Kit's eyes flashed a blood red, noticed by everyone in the room. Kit's wings turned red at the tips of the outer feathers. Kit reared his arms back, then bashed her head against the wall, knocking her out instantly. Kit repeated the process with the man. Kit flexed his wings. The Hanyu knelt down by the man.
What cliff? Kit asked in a voice of his own mixed with a little Kyuubi. The one by the end of the F forest. The man grumbled before falling unconscious. Kit pulled a shot out of the man's coat pocket. Kit disappeared and reappeared next to Kakashi and Tsunade. Both looked frightened shitless. The fox Hanyu pricked both of them with a shot. Kakashi, regaining his ability to move, rubbed his arm. How did you know that would work? Tsunade asked, picking up the half-empty shot cylinder. Kit pulled up one of his sleeves, revealing thousands of scars.
Got them hundreds of times in the school. Kit replied in a voice less like Kyuubi's. But his wings continued to turn red along with his eyes. Kit disappeared and reappeared by the window. Thanks for letting me stay in the village for a while, Kit said, untying his ninja headband. He threw it down on the ground by Tsunade and Kakashi. I won't be needing this anymore. Give my house to some homeless person, Kit said before diving out the window, his wings tight against his back. Tsunade and Kakashi ran you the window. Kit snapped his wings open and wheeled back up to them.
What do you mean? Tsunade asked, tears gathering in her eyes. Kit looked down. If the erasers in the school know where I am, then I must leave.
If I stay, they will only continue to attack here. Bye Kakashi, thanks for being a fun sensei. Bye Tsunade, thanks for the house. Kit half turned before turning back with a toothy grin on his face. See ya Cyclops, Ba-chan, Kit said as cheerfully as he could before turning and flying straight up. Kit looked below him. Tsunade and Kakashi were on the roof watching as Kit circled in the air. The Hanyu gave one final wave before speeding away. Dash. Kit scanned the landscape quickly. Shit, where are they? Kit screamed in his mind. Kit paused in his thought. Wow, I have never cared for anyone before, Kit said. Kyuubi laughed. Well, yada now, the fox said happily. Kit rolled his red eyes. Suddenly, something caught his eye. A huge gorge. 3 people, all erasers, were by the edge. Something with pink was in their arms. What should I do? Sakura will find out I have wings, Kit screamed in his mind to the fox.
Is she a friend to you? Kyuubi asked. Kit nodded. If she is a friend then she will understand. Possibly even think it is cool. Kyuubi finished. Kit finished his thought, then dove for the distant erasers.
As Kit zeroed in, he snapped his wings against his back. Kit opened his mouth and roared a roar that started human, but then turned into a monster's roar. If you have seen episodes Shippuden 40 and 41, you know what I mean. You know, the one that Naruto does when he goes berserk in three-tail form. Kit smashed into the 3, sending all of them off the cliff. The erasers yelped in surprise. Kit forced chakra to his ears and tail, making them vanish instantly.
Sur rrrrrrpp pre-isee. Kit laughed at the top of his lungs. One eraser flipped around and tried to punch Kit in the face.
Kit veered to the left, missing the punch by inches.
The fox Hanyu smashed his foot into his face, making the eraser crash into one of the gorge's many walls. Sakura was screaming at the top of her lungs. Her hands and feet were bound with rope, making her unable to move. Hang on Sakura! Kit screamed, dodging another eraser. Kit punched the other eraser into a wall. The third eraser snuck up on the Hanyu, plunging a shot into Kit's left forearm.
Kit grimaced for a second before grabbing the eraser's wrists. Kit spun forward before slamming the final eraser into the wall. Kit dove for Sakura, punching her on the top of her head. Sakura gasped before falling unconscious. Kit wrapped her in a bear hug before snapping open his wings and flying straight up. Kit landed on the grass, carefully setting Sakura down. Kit stared at his pink-haired friend's face. Kit sighed before turning to face a bush that shook from the touch of someone else.
Come on. The erasers might have found Kit. It was Max. Kit smiled. I'm fine ya guys. I came looking for you, Kit screamed. Max and the flock came running from the bushes. Kit waved with a large smile. Hey guys, bad news. We gotta get out of Konoha. The erasers know where we are, Kit said, keeping his smile on his face. Suddenly, the Hanyu's face turned slightly red, his smile vanished. Kit? Max asked. That was the last Kit heard as he fell unconscious. Kit slowly cracked his eyes open. A white ceiling greeted him. Kit opened his eyes fully. The Fox Hanyu was in a hospital room. He was dressed only in his black sleeveless shirt and his black cargo pants. He wears black cargo pants with black shorts underneath. His left arm was bandaged tightly. Two figures sat next to him. One was Sakura, and the other was a boy with black hair and wearing a green flak jacket. Kit looked confused. He did not know who this boy was. An hourglass sat on a small table. Most pf the sand was still in the top half. They say that is how long you are going to be asleep, Kyubi said lamely. Kit smiled. About time you spoke up. I was getting really bored, sitting in blackness with nobody to talk to, Kit shouted in mock complaint. Kyubi sent a mental picture of a chibi fox rolling its eyes. Kit sat up slowly, wincing slightly at the pain in his arm. The boy looked up. He looked at Kit, then at the hourglass, then back at Kit. How are you awake? He asked. Kit smiled as he swung his legs out over the floor.
My secret. Wait, how am I back in Konoha? Kit asked, his smile vanishing. Lady Hokage brought you back here. You were lucky she found you. You had a load of poison in your left arm. The boy said, recounting the events. Kit jumped up.
Why the hell did she? I told her I had to leave Konoha before they attacked again. I need to leave. Where is Max? Where are the others? Where is my fucking pet fox? Arrrrggg, Kit screamed, stomping out of the room. The black-haired boy stared after the blonde. He stood still for a moment before running after Kit. Kit stormed up to the Hokage's office door. He bashed his hand against the door.
Open this damn door, you. I told I had to leave. And where do I end up? The fucking hospital, Kit screamed at the top of his lungs. There was no answer. Kit gripped the handle and threw the door off its hinges and into the wall behind him. Kit stomped into the room. Tsunade sat at her desk, her head propped up by one of her fists. She was not the only one in the room. The flak was there as well, all standing in order from tallest to shortest, ending with Total and Kaji.
Wow. Come on in, Tsunade said. Kit jabbed a finger at her. I told you I had to leave this village, and I end up right back here again, Kit screamed. He put on a friendly face and waved to the flock. Hey guys, Kit said, smiling before turning back to his I'm so fucking pissed at you face. Let me spell it out for you. I need to leave, Kit screamed. Tsunade stood, slamming her hands onto her desk.
I am forbidding you to leave this village forever, Tsunade yelled. Kit recoiled, but his features got more ferocious.
What makes you think you can do that? Kit asked loudly. I'm the Hokage of this village, Tsunade answered in the same tone. Kit's fangs and claws appeared. But you are not my parents, Kit snarled before turning on his heels and walking out the door. Tsunade's eyes widened. Kit stomped down the stairs, tears gathering in his eyes. He sniffled and whipped them away. Who does she think she is? Kit sobbed, unknowing that a certain pineapple head was listening and watching.
Max turned back to the Hokage. Hokage-sama, are you okay? Max asked. Tsunade sat back down and nodded.
Go find that kid and get him back to the hospital. That poison may still be in his blood. Tell him about the mission later, Tsunade ordered. The flock saluted before marching out the door single file. Shikamaru pointed to the blonde that walked down a deserted street. See Sakura-chan? I think something is wrong with him. What did he tell you about his parents? Shikamaru asked. Sakura thought for a moment. He said his parents were going on a trip, and told him to come and get a house to live in. He later said that his parents would come and join him later. That is all I remember, Sakura said, shrugging. Shikamaru looked back down at the blonde that kicked a stone with his bare foot. I don't think that is entirely true, Shikamaru said after a few seconds of silence. Sakura looked confused. What do you mean, Shikamaru? Sakura asked, glancing down at Kit. Shikamaru sighed loudly. He yelled at the Hokage about her not being his parents. Someone would never do that, Especially someone who did not have parents to teach him anything about respect. I think that he told Lady Hokage that his parents are coming so she would give him somewhere to live. I theorize that his parents abandoned him. Shikamaru said. Sakura looked down at Kit. That group of 6 children walked up to him. Kit smiled and punched fists with a little blonde boy. The group started to talk as they walked. Hey Kit, Lady Hokage wants you to go back to the hospital. She thinks that you might still have poison in your system. The tallest girl said. Kit turned to face her. He laughed. Are you forgetting who I am? Kit asked happily. Gazi jumped up and down, raising his hand high. You're like us, but awesomer, Gazi screamed. Kit smiled while turning to the girl. Awesomer? Max. Who taught him how to speak? He asked. Max shrugged. Nobody knows. She answered. Kit walked on, laughing his head off. A blonde boy crashed into a telephone pole. The group laughed while the boy backed away, holding his face. Hey, that's not funny, the blonde screamed, sounding insulted. It looked pretty funny from over here. Fang laughed. Kit fell over onto the ground, laughing like crazy. Mr. Gothic laughs. Kit laughed. Max laughed harder and fell to her knees, holding her stomach. The blonde boy crashed into the telephone pole again. Now everyone was on the ground laughing. Kit was first stand. Come on guys, let's go home, Kit said, choking back his laughter. He grabbed the blonde boy's wrist and pulled him down the road, the rest of the group following. Come Iggy, time to enjoy the scenery, Kit said loudly. Iggy put on a pouting face. Sure. Make fun of the blind guy, he screamed. Gazi jumped onto Iggy's back. You make it too easy. Gazi laughed. The group disappeared around a corner. Sakura turned to Shikamaru. Let's keep an eye on them. There is something they're not telling us, Sakura said. Shikamaru looked over at Sakura. Like what? Shikamaru asked. Sakura turned to the pineapple head with a grim face. I think Kit has black angel wings, Sakura said seriously. Kit slumped down into a seat in a ramen shop. Stand type thing. Max sat down on one side of Kit while Fang sat on the other. On Fang's left side, Iggy and Gazi sat down while Nudge and Angel sat down on Max's right side. Kit, are you okay? Max asked. Kit leaned his head back. Peachy, it's just that, ARRGG. Why did Haku have to accept that damned mission? Kit screamed. Max began to laugh. Just be happy that we got a mission too. Max laughed. Kit looked over at her. Come to think about it, I need to teach you guys how to walk on water and do other stuff so you can fight the erasers in this area. Kit groaned, thinking of what to order. Kit slammed the menu down on the high table bar in front of him. Damn it. I forgot. I hardly know how to read. DAAMMNNNNITTTTTTT. Kit screamed, pounding on his head. Kyuubi scanned the menu from Kit's eyes. Order the miso ramen. Kyuubi instructed. Kit shrugged. Kit turned to the others. What do you guys want? Kit asked. The miso ramen, Max said. Make that too. Fang muttered, placing the menu on the wooden bar in front of him. Pork ramen. Angel shouted. Beef ramen. Gazi shouted hungrily. Pork ramen please. Nudge said kindly. I'm blind remember. Iggy screamed. Kit laughed loudly. Well, do you want any of the ramen the others are getting? Kit asked. Iggy sighed. I'll have miso ramen then, he said. Kit smiled and turned to the old man that was stirring a pot of noodles. Yo, old man, 4 miso ramen, 2 pork ramen, and 1 beef ramen please. Kit yelled. The man turned and smiled. Coming right up. Wait a second, aren't you the one that fought that Gara kid, and won, saving this village? The man asked. Kit stared at him. Are you a cop? Kit asked. The old man looked confused. No, the old man answered. Kit smiled. Well okay then. Yes, I am that kid. Kit answered. The old man bowed. Then your orders are free. Thank you very much for saving the village from the monster. The old man said. Kit stared at the man. He is not a monster. He is just a boy that was cursed with the one-tailed. Kit said. The man nodded. Of course. He said before preparing the meals. Kit began a conversation with Kyuubi. Yo, Kyuubi. Do you really think I should stay in the village? Kit asked. Kyubi sighed. This was your home village. Kyubi pointed out. Kit groaned out loud. I know, damn it. But that does no mean I can stay, Kit hissed, slamming his head into the bar's wood. Max, thinking Kit talked to himself, looked over to the blonde.
What did the fox say? Max asked, making air quotes around the word fox. Kit groaned, slamming his head into the bar over and over again. He said, this was your home village. But that is not a reason, you damned fox bastard. Kit screamed, pounding on his head while yelling. There was a light tap on Kit's shoulder. The blonde Hanyu looked over at the man with the scar on the bridge of his nose. What? Kit asked. The man smiled warmly.
May I speak to you on the other end of the stall? The man asked. Kit grumbled to himself as he slid off his stool. Kit followed the man to the other end before sitting down next to him. Oi, Kit. Your ramen is over here, Fang shouted. Kit leaned back to see the black-haired boy. Thanks, Fang. I'll be over in a minute, Kit shouted before turning back to the man. Thanks for coming over. My name is Iruka. Were you the new boy who became a ninja in time to be assigned to a team? Iruka asked. Kit nodded. Hi, Iruka. That was my first day in the village, Kit answered. Iruka nodded. And by fox, do you mean Kyubi? Iruka asked. Kit's eyes widened. Kit averted his look away from Iruka. Iruka did a fist pump. I knew it. You're Kyubi's Jinchuriki, Iruka shouted. Kit jumped up and slapped a hand over his mouth, surprising Iruka completely. Kit looked over at Max. She nodded in his direction. In a swirl of red chakra, Kit and Iruka disappeared. When the two reappeared, they were in the middle of the forest. Kit threw Iruka to the ground and grabbed a kunai from his kunai pouch and slipped into a fighting stance. You work for the school, don't you? Kit screamed. Iruka looked frightened and confused at the same time. What school? He asked. Kit growled deep in his throat. They're the only ones that even know, Kit snarled hatefully. I don't know what the hell you are talking about, Iruka shouted. Kit's expression changed. Then how the hell did you find out? Kit asked. Iruka stood and smiled. Not everyone walks around screaming, damned fox bastard, while pounding on their head, Iruka said. Kit smiled mischievously. You sure? He asked, laughing slightly. Iruka laughed along with him. You're lucky. You don't have to listen to the damn bastards in, Kit laughed. Suddenly, a nine-tailed fox the size of horse appeared. Chakra swirled around its feet. Hey, I resent that, the fox shouted. Kit scowled at the fox. Put a cork in Kyubi, Kit said playfully. Iruka sat down to watch, popcorn in his hands. It's Kyubi-sama to you, Kyubi said back. Kit stared at the giant fox. Those who call themselves Sama are just gay, Kit muttered. Kyubi smiled. You mean happy, gay? Kyubi asked. No, I mean gay, Kit answered. Kyubi hunkered down and mock cried. Kit rolled his eyes and kicked the fox in the head. Kyubi grabbed his head. Why the hell did you do that, you little bastard? Kyubi screamed quickly. Kit rolled his eyes. Just shut up and go away. I have a mission to prepare for, Kit growled. Kyubi jumped up. You will never be rid of me. Mua ha ha ha, Kyubi taunted before he vanished into thin air. Mua ha 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 ha. I am still here, Kit. Kyubi taunted once more. Ah, shut the hell up, Kit yelled while turning and walking in the direction of Konoha. Iruka jumped up and followed. The two walked side by side without saying a word. Suddenly, Max ran into the blonde Hanyu. Kit stood firm while Max fell back. She rubbed her head as she jumped up. The rest of the flock walked from the bushes. Max, you need to learn how to slow down, Fang teased. Max scowled at him before turning to Kit with a large smile. Come on, Kit. We're leaving for the mission right now, Max shouted. Kit just stared, eyes wide. Exactly how long was I gone? Kit asked. Max shook her head and pulled an oversized covered bowl out of her backpack. You were not gone that long. But that old man wrapped you up an extra large bowl of miso ramen for the trip. He gave us all some too, she said, pointing to another bowl in her backpack. Kit's jaw dropped. I did not pack my bag, he screeched. Fang laughed quietly as he tossed Kit's black bag over at the Hanyu's face. Kit caught it 4 inches before it hit the blonde. Kit swung it onto his back while turning to face Iruka. Can you find your way back to the village on your own? Kit asked. Iruka smiled playfully. Have you really forgotten I am a ninja too? Iruka countered. Kit's sweat dropped. Heh. Right. Remember about our little secret? Kit laughed, sticking his tongue out at the scared man. Angel tugged on Kit's sleeve. Come on, Kit. I don't want to be late for our first mission, Angel whined. Kit walked off holding one of Angel's hands while Max held the other. Well, it may be your guy's first mission, but it's not my first mission. Kit taunted. Angel lowered her head in between her shoulders and scowled. Kit smiled and laughed. So, are we going to rendezvous with Ba-chan? Kit asked. Iggy nodded. Yup. She wants to meet us somewhere. I would tell you, but I'm blind, Iggy complained. Kit shook his head. Gazzy, do you know? Kit asked. Gazzy skipped up by Kit's side. Yeah. Right up here. Gazzy answered. The flock broke through the trees. Tsunade stood by a rock, turning a map around in circles. Shizune, her assistant, does not know about Kit, stood next to her. The map is upside down again. Shizune said. What? You said that when it was on the opposite side, Tsunade shouted. Yeah, but that was on a different side. Shut up, Shizune. It's on the right side. No, it's not. I'm telling you that you have it wrong, Shizune insisted. No, you have it wrong. It's on the right side. No, it's not. Yes, no, listen to the younger one, Tsunade, shouted a white-haired man. Kit stared at him. She is prettier than you too. The man shouted. Kit sighed as Tsunade punched him. The flock laughed. Kit shook his head and walked over to Tsunade. Hey Tsunada, Kit screamed. She whirled around and threw a punch aimed for Kit's face. The blonde Hanyu jumped and landed on her outstretched arm. Kit grinned. Gotta do better than that old lady. Shizune does not even know Kit. Yay! Kit shouted. Tsunade lowered her arm quickly. Kit hovered in mid-air for a millisecond before falling and hitting his head on the dirt path with a scream. Tsunade smiled. You mean like that? She asked. Kit jumped up and pointed at Tsunade. That was a cheap shot, you, Kit roared. Tsunade copied his fight me pose. It was not you, bastard, she countered. Hey, no shouting at me. I'm the FITH Hokage. I can shout all I want, well, not to me. You live in my village with my rules. Yeah, well, I don't follow them along with other people. Don't you have a no stalking for autographs rule? Kit screamed. Yeah, I do, and everybody follows it. Not they don't. Kit pulled out a scroll and let it unroll. Look at this. 52 times I have been stalked for a fucking autograph. You call that a followed rule? Kit roared. Tsunade practically fell over laughing. Ha ha. Stop laughing at me, you, Kit snarled. Fang grabbed the back of Kit's shirt collar and pulled him back over to the flock. Let me go, Fang. I'm not done with that rule making, Kit yelled. You need to cool your temper. Iggy laughed. Kit crossed his arms while growling. They say to cool my temper, Budokan, because that is still over there and breathing and laughing her head off. I will not stand for any off tishati ou. Do you conhoyam? I will kill you. You heart that. Kiiiiiiill. Kit rambled quickly. The white-haired man walked over to Tsunade's side. Who are they? He asked. Jiraiya, get with the program. The blonde in black is known throughout the land as the one that saved Konoha from an attack. Hey blonde. Tell this old fart who you are. Tsunade commanded. Kit spun around. You mean me? Kit asked. Tsunade nodded. Kit smiled largely. I'm Kit. This is Max, Fang, Iggy, Nudge, Gazzy, and Angel. Kit said, pointing to everyone in turn. Jiraiya stared at Kit with curious eyes. Kit, is it? Jiraiya asked. Kit nodded. Well, Kit, are you sure your name is not Naruto Uzumaki? Jiraiya asked. Kit shook his head. Nope. My name is Kit. Always has been, always will be. Kit replied. Fang bonked Kit on the head. That is still a stupid name, Fang said casually. Kit whirled around to face Fang. Well, What kind of name is Fang? Kit asked loudly. Fang smiled evilly. Kit backed away.
I know that smile. You teamed up with Iggy and Gazzy again, didn't you? Kit roared. Fang pulled a detonator out of his pocket while Iggy and Gazzy grinned like an evil scientist.
Boom. Iggy and Gazzy yelled in unison as Fang pressed down the large red button. Bang! A bomb that was tapped to Kit's back exploded, sending Kit flying 500 feet into the air. Shizune and Jiraiya let their jaws drop. Why did you do that? The two began, but Fang cut them off.
Just wait a minute, Max advised with a smile on her face. Kit face planted into the ground. He lay still for a few seconds before jumping up and pointing at Fang, Iggy, and Gazzy.
What the hell was that for? Kit roared in frustration. Fang shrugged. Angel held a hand up.
They were pissed off that you ditched us at the ramen stand and made us go look for you. Angel said. Kit Anime fell with a large sweat drop. Tsunade shook her head with a smile on her face. She turned to face the opposite direction of Konoha. She began to walk down the road. She paused and half turned to face the group of bickering mutants and two surprised adults.
Are you guys coming, or am I going on a mission by myself again? Tsunade called loudly. Everyone turned to her. Tsunade's sweat dropped as the large group ran after her. She held her hands out in front of her in a stopping motion. Ah! Stop! Stop, 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 stop! Tsunade yelled. But it was a little too late. The group of mutant S and adults ran over the fifth Hokage, flattening her into a pancake. Here is your chapter. As I promised, here is a sneak peek of the second winged fox.
Dash. I'm Kit. I'm 15. I finally have a family. Max, Iggy, Fang, Nudge, Gazzy, and Angel. This is my story, the story of my family. We're like nothing you have ever seen before. A boy with spiky blonde hair stood up from his perch on a building in New York City at night. He turned his vision from one car far below to another. Do not stop reading. The boy jumped. I'm dead serious.
Max, wake the hell up, shouted a male voice. Max's eyes flew open, only to find the ceiling as the floor and the floor as the ceiling. Max rolled off her mother's couch and jumped up to face the boy who had called her. It had been Fang. Yo, Max, lunchtime. Fang said simply before walking out to the backyard. Max yawned and stretched her arms. The winged girl walked out into the green yard and glanced at the table that her flock and mother sat at. Total was curled up under the picnic table, fast asleep. Suddenly, a girl with a green backpack on her back walked out of the forest line and gasped at the sight of Max. Max! You came home, Ella shouted, giving Max a large hug. Max grinned. Of course. I was away for 9 months, remember? Max said cheerfully. Dr. Martinez smiled warmly at her two daughters.
Come you two, it's lunchtime, she said lightly. Max and Ella sat side by side at the table and began to pick out their food from the mountain on the table. Tree leaves rustled loudly, and the flock jumped in surprise. Total sprang to his feet. I know that scent, but I have not smelled it for a few weeks now. Total trailed off. The group at the table turned to a tree in time to see a small red fox with 2 tails, long ears, 2 black streaks on its back, and a crystal necklace around the base of its neck climb out of the cover of the leaves. The fox slowly walked down the tree trunk, head first. The small canine completely defied gravity. Angel squealed happily.
Foxy! Angel yelled happily. Max narrowed her eyes. How did an animal from that island find its way here? Max asked. The fox lifted its head so it gazed at Max with sad and lonely blue eyes. The fox jumped down from the tree and stood tall, its 9 tails swaying behind him.
Max, have you already forgotten me? The fox asked. Angel ran over to the fox and grabbed the fox in a bear hug. Kit, Angel screeched. The fox smiled. At least someone remembers me. Angel, you were making it hard to breathe. Kit said warmly. Angel dropped Kit to the ground. Kit grinned. Thank you. Kit turned to Dr. Martinez and Ella and looked them over carefully. He turned to Max. This is your mother and sister, I presume. Kit said quietly, his voice sounding sad. Max nodded, sympathy in her eyes. Kit nodded his furry head. Dr. Martinez held up a hand along with Ella.
Why is that fox talking? Ella asked. Kit looked surprised.
You would think they would know, Kit turned to the two humans. I am an experiment that escaped from a school in Japan. Kit replied simply. Ella and her mother looked shocked. Iggy bent down and felt Kit's back.
Hey, you're a fox, Iggy said, sounding surprised. Kit rolled his eyes. Wow, you are slow. I knew you were blind, but not deaf, Kit said playfully. Oh, Kit, why are you a fox? Nudge asked. Kit sighed. He closed his eyes and his face twisted in concentration. Silver flames surrounded Kit's body. In a sudden blast of smoke, Kit sat in his human form. But instead of one tail like usual, Kit had two. Kit swiveled his fox ears until they were comfortable. Kit wrapped his tails around his body and pulled a piece of paper from a pocket in his pants. He handed it to Max. Read this, Kit commanded, ignoring the stares of astonishment coming from the Martinez humans by the table. Kit, resident of Konoha if the land of fire. DNA test. 60% fox, 30% avian, and 15% human. Max read before dropping the paper. Kit snatched it out of the air and waited for the reaction of the flock. The only reaction was complete silence. Your DNA is changing, Fang said quietly. Kit nodded. A couple days ago, I woke up with two tails instead of one. I went to Ba-chan and she gave me a DNA test. Kit said blankly. The flock just stared at him. Kit grinned. I hate what will happen when my DNA goes up again. Kit laughed. Gazzy's jaw dropped. This happened before, Iggy asked. Kit said before adding, I'm nodding, Iggy. The flock stared at Kit. The fox Hanyu sighed. I guess you guys should know. When I was born, I was only 2% avian and 2% fox. The rest was human. Over the next 15 years, my DNA changed all the time until I was how I was when I first met you guys. I was hoping that my DNA would not change again. But it did. If it keeps changing, I will. Kit trailed off. You will what? Gazzy asked quietly. Kit inhaled deeply. If my DNA keeps changing, in 2 years, I won't be human anymore. I will only be fox and avian. Kit replied simply, and by then, I will be the next 9-tailed fox of the islands. Kit groaned loudly. Hungry, I'm so hungry, the Hanyu groaned.
Didn't you just finish that bowl of ramen? Jiraiya asked. The flock laughed out loud.
If you are going to learn anything about us, one is that we are always hungry, Max said happily. Kit and the others nodded in agreement. Tsunade sighed and dropped an apple on Kit's head. The Hanyu removed the fruit and bit into it graciously. Angel tapped Kit's hand. Kit, is anybody going to attack us? Angel asked. Shizune knelt down next to the little girl. Don't worry, honey. If anybody attacks, I'll defend you, nice lady. Angel finished casually. Kit laughed slightly. She might not look it, but Angel is very good in combat, Kit said out loud. Suddenly, a look of disgust crossed his face. He waltzed up to a small puddle in the road, a sharpened kunai in hand. Without pausing, he knelt down and slammed the kunai into the puddle. The glistening water began to turn crimson as Kit walked away as if nothing had happened. Why me? Always me, Kit muttered to himself. Why did you do that? Jiraiya asked. It has not rained in weeks, and a puddle was just sitting right there, in the middle of a dry as bones road. 6 enemy ninja were in there, wanting to assassinate the Hokage. Kit replied. Suddenly, Kit froze, his nose twitching. Flock? Chilute asterisk. Chilute equals danger, Kit growled in the language only he and the flock knew. The flock's faces got grim while every human looked confused. See there? Max asked. Kit nodded. The flock gritted their teeth. Kit turned to Tsunade. Erasers. That's what see there means. We have a special language so others don't know what we are talking about. But erasers are here. We gotta go meet them, alone. You guys just wait here, Kit said before he turned back to the flock. K guys. Let a K see their IUIK it labs EIT IRA. Asterisk, Kit ordered. The flock instantly nodded. Attack the erasers with fast jabs from the air. The flock turned and dashed off into the trees. The 3 humans stood still, not knowing what to do. Suddenly, there was a large explosion, followed by Angel's scream. There was a large, animal-like figure jump onto a tree. but a humpback figure jumped up next to it and kicked it back into the trees. Angel's war cry blasted through the air. Tsunade stamped her foot.
I'm the Hokage, damn it. Who cares what Kit says? I fight when there is trouble. Tsunade yelled. She looked back at the two others that had puppy dog eyes. Tsunade groaned. You guys can't tell anybody what you see. Tsunade ordered before they ran off after the group of strange kids. Not 5 minutes after they ran into the forest, a black torpedo with red streaks came flying past them. It crashed into a tree, immediately stopping its flight.
Ow! Kit muttered, his wings drooping at his sides and his ears and tail sagging. Kit looked at Tsunade. I thought I told you to. Kit began before a wolfman tried to swipe Kit's head. Kit jumped into the air, his large black wings slightly open. Kit kicked the eraser in the throat. Down doggy! Kit yelled as the wolfman collapsed. KIT! Watch out, whitecoat with a taser heading your way! Shouted Max from a far-off clearing. Kit jumped to hide in the trees. What's a taser? Kit asked. Suddenly, a man in a white coat came out of the trees, a small machine in his hand. The three humans just stared, not knowing what the hell was going on. KIT, we could use your help over here, Iggy yelled. Kit tackled the whitecoat to the ground and grabbed the taser. Kit flipped it over and over in his hand. How does this work? Kit asked. Like I would tell you, the man snarled. Kit shrugged and hit the man across the head with the taser. Kit jumped up and pointed Tsunade, his ears flat across his head. I told you to wait. You know that this is our type of battle, Kit said before jumping into the air. With a loud FWIP, Kit's wings snapped open and carried him away. Jiraiya pointed. What the hell was that? He asked. That was Kit. Come on, she said before running off. Kit laughed like a maniac. He had learned to use a taser. After this battle, the flock agreed that Kit would never get another chance to use one ever again. The blonde Han shot the taser into another eraser and shocked him. Max tapped Kit's arm. Kit turned to the bird girl. Yeah? Kit asked. Kit? The battle's over, and the eraser was already down, Max said. Kit looked back at the eraser he had zapped. Oh, Kit said blankly. Max nodded. Yeah. Oh, she said, folding her wings around her. The other members of the flock crowded around Kit and Max, chattering excitedly. Oh, that was so cool, Kit, Angel said. Kit ed his head. What was? Kit asked. How you beat so many of them, Nudge said happily, apparently thinking the same thing as Angel. Kit looked back at all the groaning erasers. He scratched the back of his head sheepishly. Heh. Yeah, Kit muttered. Tsunade, Jiraiya, and Shizune came running into the clearing. Tsunade ran up and hugged Kit, ignoring the fact that she was crushing his wings. I'm the Hokage, damn it. Your battles are my battles, Tsunade whispered. Kit slowly relaxed. No matter how weird they are, Kit asked back. Tsunade nodded. No matter how weird they are, she agreed. Kit looked at the flock, who were trying to hold back laughter. Sephra equals shut up, Kit growled, and they all instantly quieted, shifting their wings and looking away. Tsunade, you're crushing my wings, Kit said. Tsunade pulled back. Sorry, she apologized. Kit walked back over to the flock, the taser still in his hand. Jiraiya and Shizune ran over to Tsunade. You never said that monsters would be part of your guard, Shizune hissed. The flock froze, and turned to the three. Wow, thanks, Kit muttered, before turning back to their conversation with the flock. Max suddenly grabbed the taser from the blonde mutant. Kit yelped, and tried to grab the weapon. Hey, give it back, Kit yelled. So you can act like a maniac when we get attacked again? I don't think so, Max said. Kit dove for the weapon, but Max instinctively gave the weapon to Gazzy, who shoved it into his pocket. Kit recoiled. I'm not going to touch him. He probably has a bomb rigged to blow me up again, Kit yelped. Tsunade came up and sighed. She thumped him in the back of the head, making the blonde scream with surprise. Don't do that. It sends a shockwave through my ears, Kit yelled. Tsunade shrugged. The sun slowly began set, and Tsunade sighed. Let's set up camp for tonight, she said. Kit grinned. Hell yeah, sleep, he said happily.
That night, Kit and the others sat around a fire. The flock had left their wings out to cool off, for keeping them bundled up all day made them extremely hot.
So, the fox is out of the bag. Kit muttered. Don't you mean cat? Jiraiya asked, trying to act normal like, hey, you have wings. No big deal. Kit pulled on his fox ears.
No, fox, he said sternly. Jiraiya shrugged. So, you gonna tell us how you got the wings? The old man asked. Kit thought for a moment. He looked over at the flock. Karain saw. Kit asked, should I? The flock thought for another moment.
Oh nay. They said in unison. In other words, no. Kit grinned. Sorry. Not gonna. Kit said happily. The three humans stared. Tsunade was only staring because of the unfamiliar words that Kit was using. Why not? Jiraiya asked. Kit shrugged. Don't wanna. Kit replied in his stubborn acts of his. He jabbed a finger at the flock. And cause they told me not to. Kit's POVI sat in front of the burning fire, leaning forward to absorb the heat. Jiraiya, Shizune, Tsunade, Nudge, Angel, Gazi, and Iggy had gone to bed, leaving me, Max, and Fang awake alone to stand watch all night. I tossed another log onto the fire to keep it alive. So, another day, another attack. I said after a long silence. Yup. Max deadpanned. And another day of not knowing what's going to happen next, I muttered. Him. Fang sighed. I looked over at the other boy with black wings. That's 2 more words than you've said for most of the day. I laughed. Fang shrugged before offering me a can of Pepsi. Whatever that was. Hell, it was good.
So, what now? Fang asked. I waited for Max to answer. She was the leader after all. I looked up after not hearing anything. The two were looking at me.
What? I asked, confused. You're older than any of us. You know your way around this land. You are more of a mutant than any of us. You are rightfully the leader. Max said. I felt like backpedaling, but if I did that, I would trip over Tsunade. Being a Hanyu mutant I can deal with. But the freaking leader? Next you're going to be telling me that I have to save the world. I yelled. Max laughed, and Fang cracked a smile. I almost died right there from that smile. Fang, the emotionless guy, was smiling. Run for the hills yonder. Duck for cover. The world's gonna blow. It's almost like you knew. I was told that I and one other had to save the world. The person that told me this said that the other person was almost like an eraser. He was talking about you. Max said. I just starred. Aw shit. I ain't saving no world. I said, crossing my arms over my chest. And I ain't about to lead a group of 7 into the world. I have only been out of the school for a few months. I said, my voice rising every second. We can't ignore our destiny, Fang said. I just starred. Stick to your own sayings. Don't go buying Hallmark ones, I said. Fang shrugged, putting his hands up in defense. I thought for a moment. You can't be perfect. But you really are chosen to save the world with Max and the flock, Kyubi said.
Stop talking, I growled. But nobody said anything, Max said. She paused. Wow, I'm on the other side of insanity now. It's kinda creepy, she said. I lowered my head between my shoulders. You have your voice inside your head, I have mine. I muttered. Fang looked between the two of us. Great. Now I'm the only one without a voice in my head. I feel so left out, he said. I looked over at him. You're not missing much, Fang. It gets annoying. I'm counting you lucky that you don't have an annoying voice in your head all day, I said. Fang scowled at me. Are you calling me weak? That I can't take the annoyance? He asked. No, I'm just saying I have all of the powers that the flock has. Except that whole entire blind thing with Iggy. I said. Fang sighed and sat back down. You have a point. Fang muttered. I grinned. I turned to Max. Getting that out of the way, I'll agree to be the leader, as long as Max teaches me how, and that she is second in command. I said. Max nodded in agreement. Fine. I'll teach you, but you will have more control over the flock than I will, Max said. I sighed. You know what? I asked. The two turned to me, Life S. A few hours had passed since the big announcement to Kit that he was to be the new leader of the flock. Now Kit, Max, and Fang were sitting in different positions, all with their wings out, and all roasting hot dogs on the end of sticks over the open fire. I never get how Americans come up with all this shit before the rest of the world. Kit muttered. Max shrugged. America is very advanced. Way more advanced than these islands. Maybe if this island took down the cloaking device, you guys would get more technology. Max said. Kit laughed lightly.
And give up all the abilities we have to the others in the world? No way, Kit said.
Good point. Max laughed, taking a bite of a roasted hot dog. Kit nodded. The three remained silent, listening to the slow breathing of the others. Finally, Kit spoke up. Max, you said that you now know your mother. What's she like? Kit asked quietly. The two across from him recoiled. Kit had never said anything like that before.
Well, she's kind. She's basically okay with everything. As long as you don't leave your socks laying around on the floor, then you're pretty much golden. I have a half-sister, Ella Martinez. She's nice too. Mom can make chocolate cookies basically from scratch. She's perfect. Max said. Kit thought for a moment. Do you think I could meet her sometime? Kit asked slowly. Max smiled and nodded. Of course. She'll love you as if you were her own son, like Iggy, Gazzy, and over here. Max said, motioning to Fang, who showed a small smile on his face. Kit grinned. I'd like that. Thanks, Max, Kit said with a smile.
Another day oh screw that, Kit said. Max struggled to hold back laughter. Kit grinned. Iggy, you're about to walk into a tree, Kit warned. Iggy jumped to the side, and tripped over a rock, before crashing into Gazzy. Hey, Gazzy yelled. Not my fault. Kit said I was about to run into a tree. Iggy yelled. Kit burst out laughing. You were, in about 5,000 feet. Kit laughed. Nudge, Angel, and Max joined in. Tsunade suddenly appeared and hit Kit in the back where his hidden wings connected to his back. Kit yelped and spun around. What the hell? Kit yelled. We're on a mission. Come on. We don't have time to be making fun of a blind guy. Tsunade said. Kit grumbled to himself and walked on, his tail swishing around behind him. Without looking up, Kit said.
Iggy. Rock on your right side, 5 paces. Kit warned. Iggy laughed. Oh yari. Iggy never finished, for he tripped over the large rock. Guess what? Iggy learned for the 10th time in his life what dirt tastes like. Hooray for the blind mutant freak. Iggy stood up. Told you. Kit muttered. I thought you were kidding, Iggy Ed.
Nope, you should really trust what I say, Kit said, smiling. I'm smiling, Iggy.
'Cause that worked out so well the first time, Nudge said from a few feet away.
Well, there really was a tree, far from where he was walking though, Kit said. The flock laughed, while Iggy pouted the best he could through his own laughter. Jiraiya was keeping a secret eye on the young blonde. He could sense a large amount of chakra radiating from the 6 kids, but even more from the blonde boy, Kit.
I bet I could teach him, Jiraiya thought out loud. Tsunade flicked the old man in the back, but the attack felt as if an elephant had stomped on his back several times. Don't even think about it, pervert. No way are you going to teach the boy to kill himself, Tsunade said. Jiraiya grinned. Let's let the boy decide for himself. Hey Kit, you want me to teach you some awesome jutsu?
Jiraiya asked, but Kit was in the middle of a chess game, that he was somehow balancing on his right wing, against Iggy. Amazingly, Iggy was winning, having one of Kit's knights, most of his pawns, and had the queen in his, sights, kinda. Kit grinned, and moved his queen to the side. He whispered a word that sounded like, waffles. Iggy moved his hand around the board until he found his king. He moved the king over so it was out of the range of the queen. How a blind kid knew what was out of range and what was in it, nobody would ever know. Kit was grinning from ear to ear. I'm grinning, Iggy, and checkmate, Kit said as he used a bishop that had been hidden among Iggy's ranks to capture Iggy's king. Iggy pounded his fist into the table that held the board. Damn it, he roared. Kit yelped as Iggy's fist connected with his wing. Watch it, Iggy, Kit ordered while folding his wing back in under his cloak.
Sorry, I'm blind, Iggy said, shrugging. That's always your excuse, Kit yelled, throwing his arms in the air. Max leaned back between the two of them.
That's because he is Kit, Max said before leaning forward. Kit crossed his arms over his chest and began to grumble to himself. Do you want me to train you or not? Jiraiya asked.
Yeah, whatever. As long as it does not involve a dog crate or painful experiments. Kit muttered. Shizune and Jiraiya stared at the blonde. Long story. Kit, the flock, and Tsunade said in unison.
Awesome. Here, Jiraiya said, throwing a water balloon to Kit. Just pop that in. Kit used his claws, poking holes in the balloon and popping it. I meant with your chakra. Jiraiya said. Oh, you coulda just said that. Kit grumbled, grabbing another water balloon from the old man. So I just use my chakra to move the water around, popping the bubble with the pressure. Kit asked. Correct, Jiraiya responded. Kit stared at the balloon in his hand while the group walked. The flock watched in confusion. Jiraiya sighed, and took out another water balloon. Perhaps a demonstration is in order, he said. In an instant, the ball began to spike, and exploded. He handed another one to Kit. Now you try. Kit attempted to shatter the ball, focusing his chakra. The ball began to spike, but then calmed. What the hell? Kit asked. He tried again. Nothing. Kit, grumbling to himself, threw the balloon to Gazi. Here, Kit grumbled. I'll try later. We're coming up on a village. They all looked to their right. Sure enough, there was a village. What the hell is that? Kit asked, pointing to the middle of the village, where a giant snake was rampaging. It looks like a giant summoning snake. Jiraiya said. Suddenly the snake vanished. The end. Now we will see you in the next video.